Hello, Fightful Faithful, and welcome to the Fightful Post NXT 2.0 After Party, because that's what it feels like. We're here with hashtag KALEX. It's me, Alex Pawlowski, and my co-host, as always, Kate Hensler. Kate, tell the people how you're doing.
So not great. The ALCS is the Astros and the Red Sox. Miserable. I had to watch Raw yesterday because I was a guest on another podcast, which means I had to watch Raw and pay attention. Unbelievably miserable. And then tonight, also miserable. So, in wrestling world, not great, Alex, except AEW is real fun. Call me a homer. I don't give a shit. AEW is doing cool stuff. I don't care what you have to say about that. I've really liked a lot of what they've had going on, and they were in my area, so I saw a lot of very familiar talent on AEW Elevation. I was so optimistic going into Raw yesterday because I saw friends of mine on Elevation, and then Raw hit, and I was like, nosedive.
There's no correlation. There's no correlation. That's like, hey, I'm going in for major surgery, but I just saw a friend of mine down the block, so I'm sure it's all gonna go good because I got this doctor. You may have heard of him. You see what the heck to work with here? Like, that guy's definitely gonna botch your surgery. I don't care how optimistic you are. Vince McMahon is absolutely that dude in the back alley trying to work on the Joker. It's not gonna go well.
It's not. It was we could talk about it because it applies to NXT as well. Just some really insulting things in general, like we saw tonight, and then yesterday as a woman. I don't know how I can be a woman and respect myself watching WWE programming.
Listen, I said this last night. The Queen's Crown tournament is not just an insult to the women in the locker room. It's an insult to women everywhere. It's an insult to men everywhere. Dogs and cats too, probably. Invertebrates. Like there's a little, I don't know where he go. There was a spider crawling on the wall of my basement. Where did he go?
You know what? When you put it that way,
but he's insulted. That little spider is insulted by the booking. And he's a dude spider, not a lady spider. Obviously, she'd be insulted. He's a dude spider, and he's insulted by the booking of the human women in the Queen's Crown tournament.
That is a smart spider. And on top of that, when you put it that way, it's kind of beautiful because it's like all of humanity is band together. Everyone, all the creatures of the earth have come together to be insulted by what WWE programming has done to us. And now that is just fully bled into NXT. And I'm more accepting of it now because I feel like I've been warned. But outside of Ivy Nile, who I thought was great, and Malcolm Bivens, who's always a national treasure, and good in ring work, this was it's not great, Alex.
No, I mean, I guess we'll talk about this now. We're not going to talk about that segment now because there's a whole other thing to do with that segment. But Grayson Waller may have inadvertently stumbled upon the mission statement for NXT 2.0, and yay, indeed, all of modern WWE, when he said, it's not about wins and losses. It's about likes and swipes. And I've honestly never heard something more profound. This goofy Australian boxer / amateur dancer has just I've been trying to figure out a way to put it into words, and he just blurts it out. It's perfect. It's not about wins and losses. It's about likes and swipes, meaning just think hey, look at that over there. That's interesting. As opposed to anything with substance.
No, it's like I can't. It's just that you don't have to go that far back to a time when this was like, I just think about the last takeover with Dragunov and Walter, and I'm like, wow, we're really never gonna get that again. That makes me so sad. And not to get whatever, it's sour grapes. I can get sour. I was thinking about Dusty Rhodes' birthday and how like they had the Dusty Cup and like how they did this whole presentation about Dusty and Cody was there and all this stuff. And I was like, just like of all people, like just rolling in his grave. Dusty, like the most nuanced storyteller and incredible, just cared so much about those things. Like cared so much about logical storytelling in the ring and ring IQ and things making sense and was a poet at it. Like, oh my gosh, I went back in Dusty's birthday. I went back and watched both of the Harley Race matches and a couple of other ones, and I was just, oh my God, it makes you appreciate modern wrestling more when you're a student of older wrestling. Like I'm a very big believer in that, like with any art form. And then watching NXT today, I was like, oh my God, he would be so sad. Like, my word. So welcome everybody to Sour Graps. Oh boy, we can get into some of the super chats if you want.
Please send in your super chats about anything you want within reason, and then we'll talk about it. If it's pertinent to NXT, then we'll definitely address it as we get to those segments. Or if it could be about other wrestling, it could be about just WWE in general and whether or not you think it's a good time right now. Spoiler alert, it's not. But it could also be, this is a thing we started last week, and guess what? We're going to keep it rolling because it's fun for me and it made Fightful money. I am a jukebox for whatever kind of crazy impression you think I'm going to be able to do, saying whatever about whatever, and we'll see how that goes. It was a lot of fun last time. We'll start reading the super chats now, and we'll get into the review of the show in just a little bit. First of all, Yoko Littner says, just curious if Kate would like a jacket and some gloves for that freezing cold take about the Red Sox not being able to beat the Rays.
First of all, it depends on the jacket and gloves. Second of all, yeah, that is what, I don't know if you're familiar with the phrase putting salt in someone's wounds, but that's what you just did, and it stings real bad, and I'm mad at you. But thank you for the money. So it hurts so bad in my soul that baseball, my other favorite thing outside of wrestling, has now ruined my life by pitting the Astros and the Red Sox against each other. So thanks for the super chat. I appreciate it. And I would like a jacket and gloves for my freezing cold take, particularly as we swing into the chillier months if it's fashionable. It matches my bangs.
It's true. You got to match the bangs.
They're the most over thing at Fightful. I don't mean to pat myself on the back,
No.
but I swear to God, we've made more money off of my bangs than pretty much anything else.
Way more. Sean Blanford says, just drank a Red Bull, so I'm ready for another night-long shenanigans-filled NXT review with Team KALEX. All hail Tony D'Angelo. Yeah, there was a bit there where I was going to have somebody whacked because my buddy Tony was not on the show for a very long time. He was teased about being on the show, and then he was deliberately excluded from the show. Thank God Tony was on the show, and we'll talk about that because it was magical. Oscar Villanueva, thank you for the super chat, says, to be honest, I haven't watched NXT in a long time. Just here for KALEX and the laughs. Alex, are you still laughing from the opening of BTE? I know I am. Listen, there's no AEW show tomorrow night, and I don't want to wait until Saturday to get this take in. The beginning of BTE is one of the funniest things I've ever seen, not only from a comedic timing standpoint, but from a cinematography standpoint, from when they're all trying to lift up and powerbomb Nakazawa, and then all of a sudden it just goes extreme close-up on Kenny, extreme close-up on Matt, extreme close-up on Nick, they're all grunting and making crazy faces, and it goes extreme close-up on Cole, and it goes, "For the love of God, why is this so hard?" It was just so
amazing.
Good. I cackled for minutes on end.
I love BTE, and I also love kayfabe, so like I love what an MJF does. So sometimes I don't always like the peek behind the curtain content, but in general, I really like BTE. And when they do stuff that is so self-aware like that, it's so much fun. Like when the Jacksons were running around talking about how they didn't want the key demographic, they wanted like the 50 and over demographic, and we're doing those like Home Depot spot. Like that stuff will 100% of the time pop for that, because that just absolutely cracks me up. BTE was a ton of fun. Elevation was a ton of fun. From what I'm seeing, Dark was a ton of fun. It makes me sad. I would rather watch AEW YouTube content than I would rather watch than NXT. Like, that is such a bummer, because NXT was like the best show on television a lot of weeks. Like a lot of weeks.
Yeah, it's gone. It's here's the thing. I think NXT 2.0 is really hitting its stride, and that's not a good thing. Like, this is what it is. Like, there were some like growing pains. We're not sure what they're gonna. Oh, this is the thing.
We've settled in, buddy.
This is not gonna be. Yeah.
And to me, the hardest part about it is if you do watch Raw, this is back to back with it. So for me right now, it feels like you're getting 5 hours of Raw. 3 hours of Raw was already an hour longer than I needed.
Yeah.
And now you're getting essentially Diet Raw on Tuesdays. So when you watch it back to back like that, oh man, it's rough, because I was still not recovered from yesterday. I'm still like very genuinely emotionally upset about yesterday. Like, it's very frustrating, and then we got this today.
Yeah. Well, the Nerd Guru is going to try and cheer us up. He says it's a non-sour chat. Kate, you look amazing in glasses.
Oh, thank
Alex,
you.
Alex, I ordered 2 pairs of glasses yesterday. 2 new pairs of glasses. Yeah, the ones that I have are, gosh, almost a decade old, and they're being held together by a piece of paper clip. So I decided to get me some new glasses. So maybe if I'm deciding to feel, a little bit more scholarly, I might wear some glasses myself.
God.
But he
when
says,
we go to chase you, we can wear that.
He also says that Alex, your sour graps on Select have been home runs lately. You guys rule. Please go for 4 hours. Yes.
Sean's gonna be up until sunrise editing.
No, I have a feeling like Sean's like tucked himself into bed now. He's like, I'm not staying up to edit this stuff. I'll just edit in the morning. I'm just going to bed now. Nighty night. I'll
get a cool 7 hours in before Kate and Alex are done.
I believe this is actually from our friend Luis. It's not really a bummer about AEW's AEW YouTube content, considering AEW YouTube content in a couple of days is going to feature Bryan Danielson versus Minoru Suzuki in the year 2021. My God, what is happening?
What? I so appreciate that Americaniel Dragonson. There you go. Has like decided, I'm going to go to AEW and I'm just going to do all of the stuff that WWE was like, nah, you can't do that because of the shape that you're in. And so now he's just having like, he was like, my first 5 matches are just going to be dream matches for everybody. How's that sound for you guys? Because like what he did with Kenny was incredible. And now he's facing Minoru Suzuki, not just on free television, on YouTube television. And I am extremely excited for Lee Moriarty versus Bobby Fish. Extremely. Matches I didn't know I needed, and I know I needed.
And now we do. I've already gotten a few. I want to spread these out over the course of the evening. I'll get the first one that I'm going to do my little impression, like spin the wheel, make the deal of impressions. Jay Blood has requested Did I say something in the style of the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes? So let me see if I got that in me. Here we go. There's a body in the trunk, baby. I mean, there's more. If I had more to say, I might be able to be a bit more.
NXT 2.0 is hard times, Daddy.
Yeah, it's hard times, Daddy. It's hard time for the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. Now I'm here standing outside the performance center by my car, and I got a body in the trunk. I'm not supposed to say that out loud, you understand, because people might be hearing me, but I'm going to say this to you once, and I'm not going to say it twice. There's a body in the trunk, baby.
See, in NXT, the best part about that is that's fine, because you can just kidnap people and hang out backstage and have matches, apparently.
So yeah, let's get into the actual meat of the show, and we'll talk more about this as the thing goes on. Okay. Now, apparently earlier in the day, Swerve is entering the parking garage outside the parking lot. And he he's walking in with Top Dollar and a B-Fab, and they say, well, hey, nobody's ever heard from Adonis. Where's Adonis? And we don't know. I don't know if Ashante the Adonis, like if he missed his flight or whatever, but he wasn't on camera this week, and they wrote him off saying that he's been missing for days. So I hope they find him. And then Top Dollar is jumped, and then B-Fab is jumped, and then Swerve eventually takes off his headphones and turns around and sees, hey, my friends are being jumped, and he gets jumped and knocked up against the wall by kicked in the face by Escobar. And I'm going to tell you this, speaking as a guy who's on the large side, and also probably 8 inches shorter than Top Dollar, ain't no way anybody got Top Dollar in the back of that SUV without him helping. Like, he didn't get in there of his own, like, without him being of his own volition. But I thought that was kind of hilarious. And he said, I'll see you tonight, Caballero, or whatever. And then they leave. So we've just seen on camera Santos Escobar and his goons abduct 2 people in broad daylight. And the first thing Vic Joseph says after watching that clip is, Santos Escobar obviously with the upper hand in tonight's North American Championship match. And I thought to myself, well, yeah, he just kidnapped 2 people, and apparently everybody's too chicken shit to call the cops. Like, there's a serious problem around the Orlando area with crimes being committed by WWE people, and the cops just looking the other way, not investigating. Nobody calls the cops. Like, I understand, like, if you beat somebody to within an inch of their life in the ring, that's a sanctioned match. Things happen, whatever. But that's a crime that was committed and nobody reported it. And I feel like they should have.
Okay, here's where I'm going to make it work for you, where it doesn't work in Jacksonville, because both NXT and AEW parking lots were the most dangerous place in the country during the pandemic. What if they know Tony D'Angelo's around now, and it's like this situation that got worked out with the mob, Alex? You didn't think about that, did you?
Hey, listen, guys, I'm sorry, but you didn't pay your protection money this week. So, hey, if you'd paid up on time, then I would have had my guys looking out for you, but you didn't pay your protection money. Like, if all the baby faces in NXT have to individually pay D'Angelo protection money so that his goons can watch their back, otherwise, if not, the heels can just beat them up with no repercussions, throw them in a van and drive away. I guess that's the way it works now.
And, like, I get that it's pro wrestling and that things happen on camera. That wouldn't, but, like, Alex, it was a kidnapping that opened the show, and the guys that committed it and their friends were on the show tonight, talking about the crime, doing promos about the crime,
admitting to having done it on camera,
and essentially wrestling about the crime.
Like, this is I went into this for weeks back at the height of the pandemic, the PC era where there was no fans, where Sheamus ran over Elias with Jeff Hardy's car, and then in an elaborate scheme framed Jeff Hardy for vehicular homicide. Now, Elias was run over but survived miraculously. But Sheamus didn't know that when he ran over Elias. He might have killed Elias. He didn't care as long as Jeff Hardy took the blame for it. There were multiple witnesses who said it was Sheamus. They arrested Jeff Hardy. He got out, no problem, because they realized, I guess it wasn't him driving it, because everybody said it was Sheamus, but Sheamus never got picked up by the cops, never got interviewed. He committed at least 17 felonies, never did a day in jail for it.
Yeah, and by the way, Renee Young was like on the scene, if you remember. She was like there with her microphone reporting live.
Yes.
It wasn't that long ago, Alex. It wasn't that long ago that this was a world that made sense. If Tony D'Angelo was demanding money from baby faces and like took over William Regal's spot, I'm 100% in.
We will talk about him later. I am unironically on 100% on board with this guy because he has decided, oh, you gave me this trash gimmick. Like, it's a trash gimmick, let's be honest.
Yeah.
But he says, I'm going to 1,000,000% play it to the letter. I'm going to do everything I'm going to do. It's going to be perfect. And he's doing it. Like, as far as like the Chicago thing, like whatever. The Chicago, New York thing, Philly, wherever he's from, I don't care. That I'm going to let it slide. I think it's hilarious, but I'm going to let it slide. He's playing the mob thing so well.
Yes.
Like I will forever love that man for walking into the ring during his in-ring debut and immediately handing $50 bill to the ref to bribe him. Yeah. Like it was nothing. Like he did it all the time. Forever, I'm gonna love that guy. So anyway, that was how they started the thing, and then we're like, oh, here's Joe Gacy. Okay, so we're just gonna have to learn to live with this, Kate. Every week we're gonna learn to live with this. That it's gonna be more and more insulting to, I don't know, decency. Just the concept of decency is just being assaulted every week by this gimmick, and we're just gonna have to just let it go.
And logic at the same time. Like that's where that's the thing I can't get over is it doesn't work for a matter of taste, and it doesn't work for a matter of making any sense in wrestling. It's insulting to my intelligence and to like anybody with a moral standing. And it's a shame because Gacy's actually almost like with Tony D'Angelo, like you were just saying, Gacy's pretty good. Like Gacy's doing the best he can with it. But when your whole thing is that you're telling me that the squared circle is a safe place. And by the way, I don't know how commentary came around to this idea, but that Ciampa had to earn his way into a championship match as the title holder. What they were saying about that was neat. Ciampa earned his way into a match with Braun Breaker. He has the title. Like, what are we doing? So yeah, the Gacy thing, I just have to accept, I guess. But what I can't do is accept it from a point of it making any logical sense to call it a safe space and then to then go resolve your conflicts with a combat sport. I'll never be able to resolve because it's just so inherently against the nature of pro wrestling. It's so stupid.
Yeah.
He lost.
It is. I mean, he lost to Tommaso Ciampa, and great. And Tommaso Ciampa had him scouted. Like he's had like one match where he hit his finisher, which was a handspring into the ropes, rebound into a big clothesline. And Tommaso Ciampa saw him do that once on film, and he hit him with a basement drop kick in the face, and hit his finisher on him. Great. The match isn't what I'm concerned about. Him coming out, he says all of his fans, he calls them his snowflakes, which like is it 2016? Like where he like is snowflakes a thing, like a major thing now? Like wouldn't we all get past that? Isn't that a thing that like I guess not. Inclusivity is a heel thing. It's bad. Bad guys like to be inclusive. Bad guys like to accept people for their differences. All of this is it's just really terrible. And then their social media says that he says that gaslight, gatekeep, Gacy is the thing they threw out there. And gaslight, fine. I mean, I'm assuming the idea behind it is that this guy isn't what he purports to be, because that makes sense. But what it feels like to me is you're saying anybody who uses these words isn't what they purport to be. And that's where you lose me, that anybody who is trying to bring people in and find common ground and talks about inclusiveness, that all people who say that, because they say that, therefore they're fucking with you. They're only being selfish. They can't possibly be thinking of other people. And that's where, like, just fuck you, basically. It's my response to that. But gatekeep, I don't know who he's gatekeeping. How is Gacy gatekeeping? That's a word you don't understand what that means. You know it's a bad word, so therefore he's doing it. But that's not what he's doing. He's trying to actually bring more people into his circle, not less. It's just a weird thing that, like, nobody knows what they're talking about.
Yeah, I feel gaslit that they're calling this sports entertainment when it's not entertaining. That feels kind of like gaslighting. Gatekeeping, if anybody had any taste, they would not be paying attention to this. So I feel like this is all bad for their own brand that they're building out. I just... I think they think it's ironic, but it's just stupid. Like, I think they're like, oh, but like he's gonna turn it around, and I'm like, yeah, we know, we have brains. Like, it's just it just doesn't work. The match was fine. The right guy won. I can say that for this match. So that's good, I guess. But if this is what they think is edgy, and this is what's going to bring in the younger audience.
But this is the thing. I think they've dropped all that entirely, because they recognize that last week the median age of the viewer, the median age, which means there are as many people younger as there are older. The median age, the middle ground, 62. There are as many people older than 62 as there are younger than 62 who watch NXT. So they're like, you know what? This dude who got play on Fox News, let's put him out front and center. Let's lean into that, because 62-year-old white guys, on average, love themselves some fight from Fox News. So let's just say that's where we are now.
This is the thing that's always baffled me, because there were things that WWE would do that I didn't like at all. Like, put Goldberg in the title picture, but their ratings would go up, and I would say, okay, that I can't argue with. They're giving away over 1,000 comps at Raw last night. Their median age for this show is 62, and they're still continuing in this direction. Like, that's what I don't understand, because there's been plenty of times where I've been like, I don't like this idea. I didn't love the idea of Snooki being in a WrestleMania match. It made sense, and to her defense, she actually did all right, so shame on me. But, like, I get it from the perspective of it's a business. You have shareholders that you have to respond to, like, all these things. But, like, the trajectory of the product, they did 1.5 million yesterday, Alex. 1.5. Like, how do you keep doing this when, I guess because they have $1 billion from Peacock and they don't give a shit? But, like,
no, they already have the money. They don't. It's not even their network anymore. I mean, it is overseas, but it's not even their network. They don't have to get you to, like, Peacock. We have all Peacock's money. Any money that you give to Peacock, that's their money. So if like Peacock bought our content, if none of you subscribe to Peacock, we don't care.
We don't care.
We got their money. So and and they still believe, and honestly, there's a lot of reason for them to still believe this, that when it comes time for them to renegotiate with all of these platforms, the streaming service, Fox, USA, whatever, NBC Universal, they still believe when that time comes around, they're still going to be the highest rated wrestling show on cable. They're still going to be one of the top things on Friday nights on network. And you can't like lowball us because we're still the top thing. So you're gonna pay because you don't want anybody else to get it. And that's it. Like, so they're just gonna coast the whole, there's coasting, just coasting.
You could always make more money. And when you're subscribed to Fightful Select and you read Sean's report on relationships with the network, like, it does sound like people care, but like, what are they caring about? Like, it's just it's a very, very, very odd thing. But you should subscribe to Fightful Select because you get accurate and great wrestling information. And you should also leave a thumbs up on this video. So go to Fightful Select and subscribe, because that's actually a really great 3-part piece that Sean has worked on really, really hard. But like, that opened my eyes, because it just, as a viewer, has felt like they just don't care, but they do care. It's just they're caring about very specific and weird things, and the network definitely cares. So definitely go over there and read that. But anyway, we're a little off track just because I'm so disgusted with things in general. But like, that's the part that blows my mind, is it's bad. It's also bad business, because there's been stuff that I've hated creatively that they've done that has been good business before.
Yeah, absolutely. Charlie Davis points out the whole thing is a meme, but they don't know how to use it. The meme is gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss. So yeah. I mean, yeah, I have seen that meme. I didn't make the connection, but you're totally true. Riven Blade says they're using buzzwords they see in intolerant Facebook memes. Yes, this is another thing that is true. Talking about the beginning, JW Pringle says WWE, when you can threaten to murder, death, kill people, commit a B&E, and kidnap people with zero issues. Also, nobody remembers from show to show, a la Beth Phoenix last week. Yeah.
You can empty. Look, the only person on TV that's allowed to threaten to kill people is Arn Anderson, and I think we know that. It's only Arn and his Glock that can fly in this world. People.
Arn is living in a weird mid-70s Charles Bronson Death Wish fantasy. Arn Anderson's never put a Glock on anybody's forehead. He's just thinking about things he'd like to do.
Okay, first of all, how dare you? Second of all,
I'm daring. I dare.
It has made for my favorite Twitter content ever. So send me all of your Arn backwards as NRA memes for the rest of my life.
If 62-year-old white guys are their median audience, says Nick Allen, they should just bring Brodus/Tyrus back. Don't think they won't. Don't think they won't.
Your NWA, is he still the TV champion over there? I haven't paid attention.
Probably not.
Oh
my God. So okay, we got a lot of these super chats. I want to make sure I don't let them sit too long. Brent Lockman says Vince's mind may very well be the place where no light gleams, and we are somehow seeing new and horrible places within. I'd say that's probably true. Ian Hunter says that Vince is Dr. Nick from The Simpsons. And here I think I'm supposed to do an impression. The shin bone connected to the wrist bone connected to my wristwatch. Hi, everybody. Bye-bye, everybody. I love Dr. Nick. He's one of my favorites.
Oh, my God.
One of my favorite episodes as a fat guy. One of my favorite episodes is the one where Homer is trying to lose enough weight, but gain enough weight so he can get on disability. And he's like, well, how do I know if something is going to make me gain weight? Like, I don't know. I'm not sure. It's like, well, here is the rule of thumb. If you're not sure if something is fattening, just rub it on the piece of paper. If the paper turns clear, it's your window to weight gain. Which I think was hilarious. Oh, I love it. Yeah, as far as the Dusty Cup goes, the Nerd Guru says, yeah, ain't no shot. They're doing the Dusty Cup with Vince at the helm. Like, no chance in hell. That said, please pick up that tourney, AEW.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure they've got it copywritten. They can't call it that, but they figured out something else. Charlie Davis.
Sport.
Yes. Charlie Davis says that BTE has deeper long-term storytelling than WWE programming. That's true. That is true. And then Charlie Davis says hashtag Team KALEX rules.
Thank you.
That's an inarguable fact.
That is.
Eloquent says, remember when people sent Triple H gift baskets after the first takeover? Fun times. How's Triple H doing? I haven't heard anything about it for a while. I know he had that major surgery. I don't know how he's recovering. I wonder if it's a lot of like, hey, no, Hunter, take your time. We're doing fine. Have you been watching the product? No, that's fine. Don't worry about it. Take your time with your rehab and getting everything healthy. You take care of yourself. We're gonna be okay.
It's yeah, that's like a very real serious operation that he had, and I was thinking about that of just like I wonder, like, and Shane's gone, right? Shane no longer has anything to do with WWE. Like, I don't understand where Triple H even fits into this anymore. If he does, maybe he goes and does something else. Maybe on like the marketing side. I don't know. But this is not the product he created.
No. I mean, like, honestly, they are pushing him out. They're pushing him away from this thing. Vince, I've said this from the beginning since the whole thing kind of fell apart. Vince, I think he's the kind of guy who believes he's going to live forever, and there's a part of him that panics when he thinks about his own mortality, because there's these people who think they're going to take it all with them or whatever, and nobody can possibly run this thing after I'm gone.
Yeah, of course.
So there's no way he retires. Like, he's going to die in that chair. But the thing about it is that what I'm worried about is the person who takes over for him is the one who kisses his ass the most.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I feel like there was, it'll be like Stephanie will run the business side, Hunter will run the in-ring product, the stuff that they do on TV, and that's who's going to take over for him, because Shane really wants nothing to do with the family business. I don't think any of those people take over for him. I think Steph might, but only on the business side, and she won't be allowed to touch anything else. But I still think he might push her out if she says one wrong thing.
Yeah.
The person that I am so worried about taking over and actually Vince bequeathing in his will is Bruce Pritchard. Yep. That guy has been kissing Vince's ass for decades, and Vince loves nothing more than a good old kiss my ass club. That's the best thing in the world to Vince. So I think that he might reward old Brucey boy with full control of everything after Vince goes.
John Laurinaitis VP. Absolutely. Yeah. Look at what he's done to the women's product over there. And I keep thinking about, and I know I'm the biggest CM Punk mark in the world, so bear with me. But like when he said that he left pro wrestling when he left Ring of Honor, and that he was back, basically saying that WWE is sports entertainment. Like, I just keep going back to the idea that I think what is happening with the Bloodline is still sports entertainment, but I think it's great because it's entertaining. I still don't think it's quite pro wrestling, but I think it's really good sports entertainment. This is not entertaining, and it's frustrating, and it's mind-boggling when you think that like how attached people were to Triple H and what he grew. Like all those pictures and like behind the scenes stuff of everybody hugging him and like the attachment that they felt, the attachment that the performers felt to it is what made it so fun to buy into as a fan. And now all of that's gone and it disappeared so fast. Like the slate just got so wiped when they launched 2.0. I wish they had called it WWE CW again or something. I wish it wasn't called NXT because it wouldn't be as painful.
They could have called it FCW. Bring that name back. Like that's what it feels like. More like that than this. Yeah,
NXT
it's not
CW.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. That's the thing about NXT is it doesn't stand for anything. It's just like a cute way of saying next. It's not like national exhibits of torturous viewing. The torturous viewing is one word. It's not great. The Nerd Guru is sent in the chat saying, "Okay, just watch the opening of BTA and you're right. I'm dead. LOL. Cole just seems so at home, and it makes me happy having watched new NXT. Yeah, Jesus, like he got out at just the right time, didn't he? And Da Train 24 says, I know I don't need a reason to give you money, but here's my $5 because I stopped watching to go watch the beginning of BTE and laughed my ass off. Yes, yes, everybody. I mean,
listen, Tony Khan, we are driving up viewership on BTE instead of recapping the show that we're here to talk about.
I'm just reading super chats, man. Ricardo El Idolo, I believe, talking about the Minoru Suzuki versus Americanial Dragonson match. Mm-hmm. Tony Khan flexing like this will always pop me. Yeah.
Oh my God. If you're one of the dorks who got mad on Twitter that Tony Khan was basically like winking a nod to the Monday Night Wars and like talking shit about how they're finally going to go head to head, you need to go for a walk.
Yeah.
Or take a nap.
I need Shivani to like be. Here's the thing. He won't know because it will be live. SmackDown will be live on Friday. So I need Tony Schiavone to say, we've just gotten word that the Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks match is going to go to a non-finish. I'm sure that'll put butts in seats. I need him to just to say it out loud because here's the thing. God. He won't know, but that's what's going to happen because it's WWE and there's no way that match goes to an actual finish. But here's the thing. If somebody's paying attention, I hope they send in word to Becky and Sasha saying, well, now we need to have an actual finish. God. Because I want WWE across all of their brands to be better so I don't feel like jumping off a bridge in the middle of my reviews of those things at 2 a.m.
True, though, for me, it's real entertaining when you do want to. But yeah, no, the whole... the tribalism stuff is just weird, but you would hope competition is supposed to drive a product to be better. And it looked like it was going to go that way for a brief moment when the MSG house show was, or not house show, SmackDown was great. And then they let Big E cash in and win. It felt like maybe they were going to have to listen for a second and then it went right back to this crap.
Yeah, I wonder how much.
Just like not even NXT anymore. This is just therapy. This is sour grapes in general all over again because it's but that's what NXT is now. Like that's where we're at. Like we can talk about these matches, but that's what this is.
Joey Bag of Donuts says, I prefer Diet Raw to Raw 0 calorie because there's no aftertaste. And Charlie Davis says, Rampage probably won't beat SmackDown, but we don't pay Tony Khan to be a coward. Great job, everyone. Yes, let's all of us pay Tony Khan some more money because he definitely needs it. He's very poor. No, I think it's listen. You got it. Like I'm fine with punching up. Punching down sucks. Punching up is what you need to do, man. You got to lay in some blows, or you're never gonna get even with the thing. Like that's just the way it works to me.
It's wrestling. Like it's wrestling. And Tony Khan is his whole attachment is to the Monday Night Wars era. Like he's having fun. Yep. You should have fun too. It's wrestling. Stop letting it have like this big of an impact on your mental health.
Absolutely. 100% agree. Where do we leave off? Okay, so here's the thing. This is the thing. We actually, did a whole, I don't know, what, 15 minutes about nothing in between the end of the match and the thing that is important about the whole segment. After the match, Ciampa is leaving, and Harland, the former Parker Boudreaux, who's wearing the same outfit he wore last week. So I don't know if he washed it in between or if it's like his regular Tuesday outfit. Like he's got something like he's laid everything out. He's got 7 outfits and he wears the same one every Tuesday. I don't know. Maybe it is. But
or maybe it's a Doug Funny situation where he just has like a bunch of the same ones.
That's good. Like he's got 7 sleeveless Dickies work shirts and 7 pairs of cargo pants and oddly 6 pairs of hiking boots. He's trying to find that 7th one. But he is there and he attacks Tommaso Ciampa. He like runs him over. And then I was like, oh, so he's in league with Joe Gacy. But then he grabs Joe Gacy, who's standing there, by the throat. And Joe Gacy reaches out his hand and caresses like this, like with the back of his hand, caresses Harlan's face. And Harlan looks very confused. And then Harlan runs away. He runs past Joe Gacy, past the ring, the opposite direction of the ramp. He just sprints off camera, and nobody brings it up. Like, it's one of the weirdest fucking things I've ever seen in pro wrestling, honestly. Because we have no context for it whatsoever, and nobody's like, hey, that was weird. We just moved on like it was nothing. He doesn't look like Brock Lesnar anymore. They shaved his head. He doesn't look like Brock Lesnar anymore. Now he looks like Curly from the Three Stooges. Like, go back and watch that moment where he's like, he doesn't know what's happening when somebody's caressing his face. He looks exactly like Curly Howard.
Did this feel like a safe space to you when that happened?
Well, the thing is, I don't know what they're doing here. That they were like, this is inclusion, ? Is what the WWE NXT Twitter feed tweeted out with that gif of him being caressed. This is inclusion ? And like, I don't know what this is, but I almost don't want to put it out there because I don't want to do the thing where like you said it out loud, that means it's going to come true. The way he was caressing Harlan's face, they're not going to try and do a thing where like, I don't know, man. They've stayed away from like, they're not going to do the evil gay guy thing. Are they going to do this? Are they going to do the homosexual love story? But like that I know, honestly, like it came so far out of left field. I have no idea what they're doing, but it was a lover's caress and he ran away. And I don't know why any of this happened.
Because I've said it week after week, and I said it again on Twitter. Vince thinks the Attitude Era is timeless. This is going back to the tag team of the lesbians. This is like I can't believe we're talking about NXT and talking about someone caressing someone's face.
They're going to be the new Billy and Chuck. They're going to be the new Billy and Chuck.
You're being the new Billy and Chuck. Yeah. And again, like just a few months ago, this was like the brand where people would go to kick each other's asses. And now we're talking, you and I are sitting here after NXT talking about one guy caressing another guy's face.
Yeah, I'm seeing in the chat somebody saying he was calming him down like you would a wild animal. Listen, I'm not putting my hands near a wild animal's mouth if he's trying to choke me. I don't know how that would work. But like, you know what I mean? Like that, I guess that's the thing. Like, I guess he was trying to like, okay, listen, is it any better if he tries to pet? Shh, you're okay. You're okay. You're okay. If is that any better? Like, and
that's not how you get someone to calm down, in my experience.
No, it's not. It's not. But that's definitely how Vince thinks you should. I don't know what any of this is, and I guess we're supposed to let it play out. But I feel like they've, as far as this is the thing, a phrase that I coined. They have the opposite of the benefit of the doubt. They have the detriment of the doubt. Like if there's a chance they're going to do something wrong, just bet that that's actually what they're going to do. Because they've always, They've always done it. So
or that it'll just not go anywhere. It'll go
that's
wrong,
true also.
or just fall off a cliff. But it's just absurd to me that this is a conversation, regardless of where it goes. You and I are having a conversation on an NXT post show about someone caressing someone else's fucking face.
Yeah. We got some super chats about this now. Thanks for super chats, guys. All of them will be read before the end of the show if we have to be here until tomorrow morning. Joe Gacy, so Harlan looks like the kind of guy who printed out the news stories about Gacy and put them on his fridge so he can read them every morning. That's from Stardom Wrestling Fanatic R26. Here's the deal. Like, if you decided we're going to shoot some vignettes about how Harlan is a crazed former disciple of Joe Gacy, like before Joe Gacy got here, he was leading a group for like group therapy, and Harlan was in that group, and the stuff that Gacy said like set him off, like, and you can show us through some like vignettes that's what happened. Like, I'm all for any storytelling. It's always better than no storytelling, even if it's bad. Even if it's poorly thought out, like give me a backstory of what all this is going on, because I feel like we're going to get to mid-December and still not know anything about why this is happening.
Nope. And again, you look across the pond and you look at Adam Cole entering a storyline that happened before the company started. And how well that's being executed, and you look at this and you can't believe that they fall under the same umbrella. And I also just want to comment, because there's been some stuff that's not super chats in the chat about like that people weren't getting gay vibes. That's because this isn't an authentic representation of what anything on the LGBTQ spectrum would be. This is old ass Vince McMahon's version of what gay is. So like, they're not going to talk to Sonya Deville about it. They didn't do that with Liv when Liv was gay, and she was right there.
Remember when Liv was Lana's lesbian lover for 2 minutes, and they were like, "Well, let's not do that anymore." Like,
remember when Sonya, a lesbian, proactively wanted to do an angle about that with Mandy Rose?
Listen,
and they said no.
When I mentioned that, I was throwing out any idea that it possibly could be, because right now it doesn't make sense as anything. So I was like, is this something they would be doing? Please God, no. But it honestly, it could be anything, but I feel like all of the options are bad.
There's no way anything good is going to come out of this.
Here you go, from Charlie Davis. As a queer and trans wrestling fan, I don't see this Gacy thing that just happened as going anywhere good. And like, here you go. As a cis het male, I don't see this as going anywhere good. You don't have to be anything to see this as going nowhere good. But I appreciate your perspective, Charlie Davis. Yes, I don't think it's going anywhere good either.
The spider that was there before.
He doesn't think it's going anywhere
that
good.
way. Yeah.
You're right, dude. No, yeah.
Also, I'm sorry that pro wrestling has failed you for literally decades. Anybody who is on the LGBTQA spectrum.
The spider says he votes for crazed cousin. Like he's Joe Gacy's cousin by marriage. By marriage, but he says by marriage. The spider votes for crazed cousin by marriage. Valab says, guys, just let it play out. And you're right, we're gonna have to. We have no other choice.
We get paid for this.
Moxie S says Rico 2.0 minus the face paint. And Brendan Towngate likes your idea. Harlan having 7 versions of the same outfit as a cartoon character is now in my head canon. Makes sense in the context of Nickelodeon NXT. Yeah.
If Whale Man was a part of this angle, I would like that better than what we just saw.
Yes. And the Nacho Man Normie Summers says, I'm taking a WWE break till after Sands of Time. Also, just go ahead and pair Gacy with Riker to appease the core audience. Love you guys. Gabagool. Well, we love you too, Normie Summers.
Sign off now.
Yeah,
Gabagool.
Gabagool, everybody. Gabagool. And also with you.
Also with you. Hey. Look, someone's got to be entertaining about this shit.
Amen. And also with you, Gabagool. So, okay, here's the thing. We immediately following this, Toxic Attraction walks out. This is the first time of many where like somebody just like dovetails directly in, and it's like, and a bunch of times you could be forgiven for being like, "Oh, is that over? There's this new thing happening. Who's that person? Have I seen them before?" You could easily have felt that during this. It felt very, very fast paced. Now, for some people, that's like good. I don't want to have to like think about anything while I'm watching my wrestling. But for some people, it might be bad. You're like, I'm not sure who I'm supposed to be paying attention to right now. And who you're supposed to be paying attention to right now is Toxic Attraction, because Mandy and the gals come out.
I love the dovetailing thing when it's storylines that have to do with each other, or like there's a transition that makes sense. That is so cool when it's done right. When it's just people, that does not work. But like when it's somebody that has had a history with someone, or like they're teasing something that's coming up, it's so cool. I love that. This did not do that.
Yeah.
So it can be done properly, is my point.
Yeah, it can. Sure, it could. I suppose it's possible. So Gigi Dolan talks first. And so they wanted to beat up Raquel Gonzalez, and and then Io and Zoe wanted to play hero and ruin their fun. And you want to play by the rules because you're a bunch of squares and normies. And we don't like that because we're different. Look at her. She's got orange hair. We're Toxic Attraction. The one in the middle, she's hot. Like, I don't get any of this right now. It just feels very generic. It's the mean girls who shop at Hot Topic. Like, that's basically what this is, and I don't know why it's a thing.
I'm okay with that part of it, but Ryan Sullivan, who's always super chatting and calling me Catherine, and also my co-host on Wednesdays, we were talking about this, and what like he brought up, and I agreed that I just completely don't understand. The broken face part of Mandy thing just didn't need to be done to get to this point at all.
There was no need to.
It just makes no sense. So I'm a little more okay with the Mean Girls thing, because I do like that it was the Queen Bee who got turned. I said that a couple times, that like it was actually the henchwomen who changed the one person instead of the other way around. But it is stalled right here. Yeah.
But as soon as she transformed, she retook the lead of the group. And now they're just her toadies. Like there's not, like, I would have loved if, like, because it really honestly looked like Mandy Rose was going to turn them into her, and then they turned her into them, and now that she is them, she's back in control, and they're just like easily the lesser important people in the thing. But I mean, I guess like if Mandy Rose is in the trio, then in a thing booked by Bruce Pritchard and you know, Johnny Laurinaitis or whatever, she's obviously going to be the most important thing. But she says, like, it doesn't matter what color my hair is, I'm still the baddest bitch on the block, or whatever. She's like, wait a minute, were you ever the baddest bitch? When were you the baddest bitch on the block? When you were blonde? That was never a thing. Stop lying. That's not a thing you were. I don't understand why that's a thing.
If it didn't matter what color your hair was, how come your whole character is your hair color?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, like it just there's some disconnect between like there's no we're here to dominate piece of it yet, if that makes sense. Like they don't seem particularly interested in the titles, but they're kind of going after the titles.
They're
not making a statement so much. Like they're kind of the only women's faction, right? Like they have more than 2 people, and they're not Are they just here for the Clairol hair dye? Like I don't get like why.
Yeah.
What is the message that they're sending to the NXT women's division? Like I don't know what that is.
I agree. Yeah, well, Charlie Davis says the way that Mandy is shot coming out to the ring makes me feel ill. I'm all for hot ladies owning it, but not like this, please. Yeah, the camera appears to be positioned directly at crotch height and shooting up the curvature of her front. And it's very, if she was any less clothed, it would be a porno. Like it was just, like it's just very, very, very obvious what they're
like the male gaze or whatever. You can't call this the gaze. This is just like it's not as subtle as like the male gaze.
Yeah, this is
just the male like auga. Like there's nothing subtle about it.
Yeah, this is like somebody put a GoPro on her belt and pointed it at her face. Like she's wearing a GoPro on her belt buckle, putting it at her face, and it's just walking around, and it's just like, I don't know. That is so yeah.
This is the attitude era. Like that's what I keep feeling like they're like the attitude era was edgy in 2000, and so to make it edgy in 2021, we're gonna do the attitude era again. I forgot that there's been 2 decades of culture in between that time. Like this feels exactly like that to me. They would do that to Trish Stratus right now.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, if Trish Stratus came up now, she would be Mandy Rose.
That's what,
And that's they wouldn't do anything else with her. They wouldn't allow her to like blossom out of that. And her ceiling would be Mandy Rose because they wouldn't let her ceiling expand. Like
she would not be main eventing with Vita.
No way. So toxic attraction, the Gigi and Jane. I was gonna say Gigi and Jane. So that's not what I'm gonna call her now. Gigi and Jane.
By the way, in my head, I've just decided this is true. Don't go cry to Sean about getting a scoop about it because it's a lie. In my head, every week they're trying to tell Gigi Dolan to dye her hair brown, and she's saying no. Every week in my head, they're like, "Hey, we're gonna really need you to be a brunette for this faction," and she's like, "No."
If they were self-aware enough to have their own version of BTE, where they could actually be themselves and have fun with their characters, I honestly think it could be a hoot. We've seen that a lot of these people, when they're not reciting promos that were scripted for them 20 minutes ago, they actually have fun personalities and they're able to like inject something into it, make it fun. Like the idea of Gigi being like peer pressured by JC Jane and Mandy Rose to dye her hair. And every week she does dye her hair, but it's orange again. Like it's just my roots were showing, so I did dye my hair. It's just orange. So Gigi and JJ, they're going to Gigi and JJ are going to challenge for the titles at Halloween Havoc, and so is Mandy Rose. She's going to challenge Gonzalez. There you go.
She's going to win, isn't she? That's what's going to happen.
Oh, absolutely. There's no doubt in my mind.
There's going to be a DQ about it.
No. I firmly believe, with the exception of MSK, because I don't think they're putting the belt on Imperium. I think there will be all new titles. Everybody from the beginning of tonight till I'm going to say at the latest War Games. They're not going to actually have War Games, are they? Whatever the November thing is, at the latest then, we'll see all new champions. And they'll all be of the new era. The new breed, or whatever the hell they're going to call it. Mandy's beating. It's so funny. Mandy's not anything new. She's been around forever, but now she's part of the new thing. she's going to be champion. Gigi and JJ are going to be champions. We already saw, spoiler alert, Carmelo's a new champion. Braun Breaker, he's going to be a new champion. It's all new champs. So here's the first of many of these things. What is Zion Quinn's character? To you, I don't know what role does he serve? Who is he feuding with? What is he trying to do? What is his reason for getting up and coming to work to be on NXT? He looks cool. He's got MMA gloves. He wears a very elaborate necklace to the ring. At one point, I saw that he was very angry for a dude trying to walk through a door before some ladies. That's it. That's all I know about him. Anytime Zion Quinn is on TV, you should be establishing who Zion Quinn is, because him beating Malik Blade doesn't really do anything. It's just a waste of time. And
I don't know why they're fighting.
Well, I mean, like, I understand why there are matches. I understand, like, why there are it's a wrestling show. There should be matches.
Right, but why was he fighting him? You know what I mean? Like, what was the why do they have enough beef to get in the
Well, it used to be a while ago that some up and comers would have matches versus the PC enhancement talent types.
Right.
And they would do that, and then they would string together enough of those over the course of several months that all of a sudden they'd be in a position to get into some multi-man match for the number one contendership to the mid-card title or whatever. But I don't know if that's what they're doing anymore, because they stopped doing it a while ago. And I guess they're back to doing that because this is developmental again. So I understand why you have matches to get Zion Quinn on TV, but like to do
what? Yeah. Well, you need to know if Zion Quinn has the balls.
Right, he does.
To face someone, yeah. It's important.
He does a version of the old Lex Luger, I've got a plate in my arm, but it's totally legal. He does this is the first of 2 times we've seen a Lex Luger finisher in tonight's episode, which I thought was funny. Little shout out to Lex. That's nice. But again, like, there's literally nothing to say about this match. I feel. Yeah. So we'll go back now because I missed these things. We'll talk about all these super chats we got. For the Gigi and JJ and Mandy promo. Luis, our wonderful mod who helps us with these super chats, says, the week after Hispanic Heritage Month, Raquel is going to lose, and I am livid. Yeah, that's true. They're definitely setting that up.
If you want to see Hispanic talent treated extremely well, watch Impact's knockouts, knockdown, because Mercedes Martinez and Tasha Steelz put on a fantastic match and were in the finals of a tournament that did wonders for women's wrestling, while WWE tried their damnedest to set it back with 10 minutes of women's screen time in the past 5 hours of main roster programming. But go watch that pay-per-view because it rules.
Yeah, it does. Stardom Wrestling Fanatic R26 says WWE and AEW Women's Wrestling makes me sour. Well, listen, I think that AEW is making progress, and I think WWE is going backwards. I don't think that either of them are where they need to be, but I feel like there's good things on the horizon for AEW and bad things on the horizon for all of the women in WWE.
Yeah. Because on Rampage, Jade's match was like very short, but it should have been a squash. Jade is green in the ring, and she's dominant as hell, and was facing someone very new in the business. That match should have been extremely short. That made sense for the story. When you have a tournament and the matches are 1.5 minutes long, nobody feels important. All of the matches are sub 3 minutes.
Yeah.
It's insulting.
Jay Shell Nicole says, I honestly don't understand this toxic attraction thing. I don't appreciate Mandy's blackfishing or over sexualizing of them while pushing women away. Yeah, it's weird.
Kind of. I'll say this. I don't mind that somebody has the sexy gimmick. Like, that's fine. I have a problem when everybody has the sexy gimmick and we don't have any diversity at all, which was like a very, very long time in the Divas era. There was none of that. So like Carmella doing the I'm hot thing is okay because you have all these other women's wrestlers with all these other points of views. It's okay to have the hot girl. Yeah. It's just not okay when you only have the hot girl.
Right. Brent Lockman asked, do any humans on the planet actually talk like this? And it's about the toxic attraction promo, but it really could be about any promo.
You people.
Or doesn't matter what color my hair is, I'm still the baddest bitch in the game. No, nobody talks like that.
I talk like that to everyone I know, Alex. No, I'm going to send you a DM after this just so I can screen cap it and put it out there. That's how I talk to you.
Good. Brendan Towngate says, I'm jabbed that Gigi Dolan is getting paid, but I wish I could see Priscilla Kelly kicking ass elsewhere. Remember when people were excited to see women go to NXT? Good times. Yeah, that was...
Now only Impact.
Yeah.
AEW's turning the corner a little bit, but it's NXT and the Impact knockouts I felt like were for American television duking it out on a weekly basis, and it was so cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
The Nerd Guru says, well, technically all women in WWE that have hair colors such as orange, blue, and green are better than Mandy Rose could ever be. Yeah, look, I think Mandy still has a higher ceiling than what they're allowing her to do.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
You know, and that's the problem. And yeah, I know what you mean. Like Becky Lynch and Sasha, and I guess Ruby had green hair for a while, and Shotzi has green hair. Although I don't know, it's possible Shotzi has changed her hair 7 times since I've seen her last because she's not allowed to be on TV. No. Spine on the Pine says, it hurts me so much to see all of Raquel's great matches recapped only to set up her dropping to emo Mandy and Toxic Mean Girls. Keep cool, Gabagool. Is now the official goodbye. See you later, alligator. After a while, crocodile. Keep cool, Gabagool.
Cool.
That's good stuff.
Whoever just did that, if you're on Twitter, please, God, tweet that at me so I can retweet you and send you that every day for the rest of your life. Please tweet that to me.
That's great.
Cool, Gabagool, and tag Liv Morgan. She needs something to do.
Jay Blood says that Gigi is the clear star in that trio, and it's embarrassing that she's tasked with trying to get the material they've written for her over. Yeah, you know, she's the only one who feels like she's in her own skin to me.
She's definitely the one that's the most authentically outcast, badass kind of. Yeah, she's definitely that.
Sean Blanford says, where Kaylee Ray? And to that I would say she has not appeared on NXT 2.0 because she has no home in NXT 2.0. Because a woman whose gimmick is I kick asses and I have fun and I don't have a silly gimmick. Well, that's it. That's it for you. You don't belong here.
Is she going back to NXT UK?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
That certainly wasn't the plan at the time. She was in NXT stateside to like do stuff, to like challenge Raquel for the title.
This is where I got there. I mean, there was a lot of head scratching about the main roster draft, but I thought for sure we were going to see stuff like that. Like people that were going to get called up. I thought a lot more talent was going to be drafted, but because it's developmental, you can call them up whenever you want, I guess. But like the people that aren't getting used now, I thought we were going to see more mass firings or they were going to get called up. I did not think we were going to see this much purgatory for this much talent.
Yeah.
Like LA Knight, I thought for sure was going to SmackDown.
LA Knight, there's so many of that level of people who were like, well, I signed here to be like in as this thing, what I thought it was going to be, and now it's not. Now it's not that anymore. So I'm if you want to call me up and put me in catering while I collect my downside, I'll do that. Or I guess you could release me because there's other places I could go. But like, I mean, I listen, it could be absolutely nothing, but Johnny Gargano removed all references to WWE in NXT out of his bio and just has professional wrestler there. I mean, I don't know if he's put it back since or whatever, but like he hasn't been on the show. Yeah. But like he hasn't been on the show since he was like, spying on Dexter's condoms. Like that's the last thing. If that's the last thing he does in NXT, like it's like the thing is like you could really do something pretty awesome. Like you have all these great guys who built up years of a reputation on this show and using them to put over the new talent. If you're not going to do anything with them otherwise, like, I mean, I feel like there are people who like understand like part of the business is at some point you're going to be asked to go out there and make some other dude look great or make some other girl looks like $1 million.
Yeah.
And that's part of the gig. And you're not even using them for that. Like they're like, here's the idea. Like how much better, like somebody in the chat was saying Zion Quinn won a squash match. Like that's a normal thing for the newcomers to do. They win squash matches and they build them up. Yeah, but against a guy with no character whatsoever himself, Malik Blade, who like give him a character while you're at it. But how much better would it be if Zion Quinn picked one of the guys from the previous era and called them out and said, I want you. And then you build a whole story around that, around putting over Zion Quinn by somebody like, for example, a Johnny Gargano. Like how much better would that be as a thing to like, because I don't know how much more over Zion Quinn is now than he was before he beat Malik Blade. But if you have him in a backstage segment where he calls out Johnny Gargano, it's like, look at you. Look at Johnny Gargano. You're one of the reasons why I wanted to come here. Johnny Wrestling, the best wrestler in the world, I thought. Now you're a comedy sideshow. You're pathetic. And if that ignites a fire in Johnny Gargano and gets him to have this, like that's so much more important to me than Zion Quinn, like beating Malik Blade in 2 minutes or whatever. Like you could do stuff with people.
I feel a little bad because I feel like this is extra sour, and I am now realizing how important costumes are to the show. But I also did just want to call out that Fightful Pro Wrestling in the chat, which is Sean, saying, "Hey guys, please leave us $1 million in super chat."
It's a goal for us.
It is a goal for us. So if you could leave a thumbs up and also leave us $1 million in super chats, thanks, Sean, for making something happy. Because
please.
This is like, and I genuinely think part of this is because of Raw yesterday. Like, I'm just so upset that like I came into this just like not happy, and they delivered on me being not happy. So there's just I'm so like frustrated, and I don't even have my normal levity that I would normally have. So sorry if you guys were like, when Kate joins the show, it's sweet and sour grapes. Not this week, buddy. I'm so thoroughly disgusted, but. You know, if Sinclair Broadcasting wants to invest in ROH, now would be a good time, because I think not everybody can go to AEW, though I'm not entirely convinced that Tony Khan won't just give you 70 hours of wrestling a week if he has the talent to do it. Ring of Honor is doing a really great job. If you guys aren't paying attention, go to their website. But like, I really think like some of these free agents going to Ring of Honor could make them a very real alternative to what you're seeing on television right now, like in a very, very real way, because they've figured it out. they're doing great stuff. And not all of these guys are going to be not all of them want to go to the main roster. Not all of them are going to get called up to the main roster. And when their contracts are up, not everyone's going to stick around. So
yeah,
it's a very interesting conundrum Vince has created for himself.
Yeah.
But most importantly, leave us $1 million in super chats.
Yeah, I'm going to read some of these right now. Send more of them, and then I will read them. Fact Channel send something. Why would anyone watch NXT when they could watch you? Aw.
Oh, because we're not on at the same time. But yeah, no, I appreciate that though.
I mean, if you want context for our weird rants, yeah, sure. Why not?
My parents don't. My parents watch it every week, and they have no idea what the hell we're talking about.
Mark Losper says, # Team KALEX continues to be a beast. Alex loved Sour Graps on Monday. Kate loved you on the roundtable yesterday. Keep killing it.
Appreciate that.
Thank you. We will keep killing it. And if we don't, we're going to keep having things whacked.
We're going to be in the back of someone's trunk. In the back of the car, Alex. That sounded like Regis Philbin, so just keep going. We'll leave the accents to you.
You were doing so good with your Marissa Tomei from My
really
Cousin
was.
Vinny.
My father was a wrestler. His father was a wrestler.
Like basically, we're gonna turn you into Tina D'Angelo, Tony and Tina D'Angelo. So we're gonna do it. We're gonna get you there. Stardom Wrestling Fanatic R26 says, adding Kate and Grapsody took Fightful to God level. Yes, if you have not watched Rhapsody on Saturday, it's awesome. Will and Phil and Righteous Reg, they're awesome. It's a fantastic watch or listen. They tackle all the top topics from a different perspective, a different viewpoint that's very, very valuable, and they're all just really entertaining. It's every Saturday at noon Eastern. Tune in live or watch it, listen to it, download it on a podcast. It's great. It's awesome.
Yeah, they're three of the just like best Black voices in wrestling, and they did go through some of the stuff with Tessa Blanchard this past week, so definitely worth checking out. Also worth checking out at Righteous Reg on Twitter, because he was at Raw Live and just lost his mind. Lost his mind and was like, I want my $35 back.
It was so good. It was so good.
It's great.
Now listen.
Yes,
Grapsy's amazing, and I love Righteous Reg the most. He took such umbrage. Righteous Reg lived up to his nickname. He had righteous fury within him when they did a Hulk up cam at the show last night. And he was like, look at this bullshit, y'all. And people were hulking up for the cam, and he was like, I can't with this. And nobody should be able to. No one should be able to with that. Drew Nicholas. Everybody be like Drew Nicholas. He sends a huge super chat. Drew is the greatest.
Thank you,
he said,
Drew.
Here you go, Sean. Alex and Kate, you both rule, and I thank you for watching, so I no longer have to. You guys deserve all the praise and love, as do the lovely moderators and everyone at Fightful.
Oh my God. Yes, they do. Our moderators are amazing.
Yeah. Drew holds a special place in my heart, because when I was just starting out in this game, reviewing main event and superstars for cage side seats for no money, Drew commented on my stuff and said, this is really good. You should keep doing this. And I don't think that if I had him commenting on that stuff that I would have had the courage to even apply for Fightful. And I would not be here were it not for Drew Nicholas. So I'll always be indebted to Drew Nicholas. So thank you, Drew. Jesus Garcia says, didn't watch NXT. Just watched Knockouts Knockdown last night. Wasn't able to show support for Denise and Kate live. So I'll sew it here. Jade and JW Pringle says, hi, Kate's mom and dad. Hi, Kate's mom and dad.
Probably say hi. Here's a shoe. It's my mom's birthday tomorrow.
Oh, awesome.
Happy birthday. Send in super chats for my mom.
Send in super chats to say happy birthday to Kate's mom.
Yo, they're so cute. My sister called me because she came home for my mom's birthday, and she was like, telling me about how my dad picked her up in New York City to go back to Pennsylvania. And she was saying that like my dad was catching her up because she also doesn't watch wrestling and was like putting you over and telling her all about the accents, and just she was like walking her dog and called me and was like, Dad's so proud of you. It's the cutest thing. Nobody in my family gives a shit about wrestling.
So
and they still support.
Yeah.
And now they're making money for Fightful. So send them those super chats for my mom's birthday.
There you go. So here's another thing. People are we'll start sending in these as well. I do impressions apparently now. So here's one that someone asked me to. He says, I can't help but wonder what Rapper's Delight would sound like performed by William Regal. So here we go. I said, a hip hop, the hippie to the hip hop, hip hop, you don't stop the rocket to the bang bang boom. You say, up, jump the boogie to the rhythm of the boogie, the beat. Now, what you hear is not a test. I'm rapping to the beat. And me, the groove, and my friends are going to try to move your feet. See, I am Wonder William, and I'd like to say hello to the black, to the white, the red, and the brown, the purple, and the yellow. But first, I got to bang, bang the boogie to the boogie. Say up, jump the boogie, the bang, bang boogie. Let's rock, you don't stop. Rock the riddle, it will make your body rock. Well, so far as you've heard my voice, but I brought friends along at War Games.
I love the ending, and I love that when you started this, when I was out with COVID, somebody asked you to do Drunk William Regal, and now I feel like he's at karaoke. So this is great. We have better long-term storytelling on this than NXT does right now.
We do. I'm going to do more of those later. Well, hold on a second. Happy birthday, Kate's mom. Keep cool, Gabagool. Also, I didn't know the breakout tournament worked like a Money in the Bank. Oh, we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that because nobody knew it.
Sean, go take a nap. We're going to be here till 6 a.m. You can edit this in the morning. It's fine. My mom is making you money.
Joey Bag of Donuts says, happy birthday, Kate's mom. Happy birthday, Kate's mom. WWE shows are crap, but your daughter's the bomb.
Thank you.
Oh,
nice
hey.
song.
Yeah.
Thanks, Joey.
Okay. Yeah,
Joey Bag of Donuts is also a Steelers fan, so we're both in pain watching Ben Roethlisberger try to play quarterback still, though they won this week, so that's neat.
Yeah. And Ricardo Elidolo says that as Tony D'Angelo, I'm supposed to sing happy birthday.
Her name's Kathy.
To Kate's mom,
This
Kathy.
is the best day ever.
Here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kathy. Happy birthday to you and many more. Gabagool.
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 What am I gonna get my mom as like a gift now? I can't. Like, I gotta figure something better out for tomorrow.
Can't do it. Brandon Towngate says that Regal Rap was the best thing ever. Long live Tim KALEX, and much love to the mods for holding these super chats. And Zach Barber says that was the greatest thing I've seen on Fightful. So I appreciate
my mom is over.
Yeah. So this is a super chat. Hold on, just to make sure I didn't miss it. Paul Hensler says, "Hi, JW Pringle." So
my dad saying hi back to JW Pringle.
Yeah,
he said hi to my parents.
That's right. There you go. That's good. Everybody, we all talk together. It's nice. It's good. So let's get back into whatever the hell happened on the show for a while, and then we'll get back to the craziness.
We're like not even halfway through, are we?
No, not close.
Okay.
Mackenzie Mitchell is backstage with Tommaso Ciampa. So he's got the Halloween Havoc and the title defense against Braun Breaker. The grizzled young veterans walk up and taunt Ciampa, and Like, slow it down, fellas. Like, you lost to Brooks and Dunne last week. You lost to the Bar Fight Boys, and I don't know. Like, it's they maybe a little humility, but whatever. They talk some trash. Like, he says, we are the grizzled young veterans, and we can't wait to see you lose that title to a rookie. And then Braun Breaker walks up and says, "Hey, this rookie's always ready to go, chump. You want to go? Let's go right now." And
I'm not a Steiner. That's how his Keep Cool Gabagool is I'm not a Steiner in my head. Yeah.
Somehow he calls himself the big bad booty daddy, but he's definitely not a Steiner. No, not at all. Honestly, they're not self-aware enough. They're going to refuse to call him a Steiner. 1 week, I think he should wear headgear and never mention it. And the next week, he should walk down to the ring wearing a chainmail thing over his head and never mention it. And we're gonna everyone knows he's a Steiner. Let's point to it, but never actually acknowledge it by speaking it.
Gonna do a promo where in NXT he has to solve for X. Yeah. Like, he's gonna be doing Steiner math, but it's gonna be very specifically him finding the hypotenuse. But the X in NXT is gonna be what he's looking for.
Yeah. Before we get further into this, Ryan Sullivan says, "Happy birthday, Kate's mom, but I have to ask you, where did it all go wrong?"
Ryan, my mom would be like, "Ryan, that's not very nice." He's kidding, Mom. He's a friend of mine. Kind.
He
calls me Catherine.
Well, he's like, Zach, well, as you can see, we're not dressed to fight, so we're just going to slink away because we're very scared of you. I hate what they've done with the Grizzly Young Veterans. Like, those guys could have been called. Like, they're breaking up tag teams on the main roster. You need more of them. The Grizzly Young Vets on the main roster, like, they're never gonna.
I won't even be insulted anymore. I'm sorry. There's no tag teams in the women's division, literally at all.
They're never going to do it. But let the Grizzled Young Veterans wrestle the Usos and give them 15 minutes and let it be great. Let it be great, because it'll be great. They'll make it great, but you stand in the way of them making it great. Let it be great, and it'll be great. And I don't understand why we have to stop things from being great. I don't understand why that happens. Anyway, apparently, Mr. Breaker says, "Listen, I'll have your back between now and Halloween Havoc, because I want to beat you at your best." And I was Ciampa in danger of being beaten up by? I feel like GYV wasn't there to start a fight. What are you protecting him from?
No, they weren't even in ring gear. They were
in
clothes.
They were in suits. They said they didn't want to ruffle their suits, which is why they wouldn't have a match with him now. But you don't need to protect Tommaso Ciampa, Braun Breaker. Tony D'Angelo's handling that. Like, Tommaso Ciampa is up on all of his accounts. He's everything paid off. He's good. He's good through at least November. So
he is. And I don't think anyone's had to protect Ciampa from anything ever in his life except for his neck. So they make a match for next week. Later in the show, they make the match for Tommaso Ciampa and Braun Breaker versus the Grizzly Young Veterans. I wonder if Ciampa and Breaker will ever be able to coexist. I was sure that at least one of the major tag teams last night that consisted of two singles enemies thrown together in a tag team match, I was sure at least one of them would be able to coexist. But I was wrong again, Kate. We had 3 of them in the last hour of Raw. 3 of them. And no clean finishes in any of them. But this is developmental for Raw, so it makes sense.
Makes sense.
Even my bangs are out of sorts about this, Alex. My bangs, which before my mom were the most over thing on Fightful, and now they're all been out of shape.
Ivy Nile. Yeah,
we can talk about something I like.
Yeah, good. Let's talk about something. You handle this. Ivy Nile is great. Ivy Nile walks in, and the first thing I'm going to say, she does this. I've never seen this before. It's awesome. She does a push up, like a triceps dip, really slow, which is really hard to do because you gotta. It's like planking with your arms, and it was really cool. And I was like, oh, she's a badass. I like her a lot.
Yeah.
And then I liked her. I liked the shit she did in the match. And then she won with a friggin' Lex Luger torture rack. And I am all in on Ivy Nile. Malcolm Bivens can pick him.
Yeah. I liked something on the show from front to back. So we get to talk about it. I really like Ivy Nile. Her versus Legit Layla is now like a dream match that can't happen while they're at the respective promotions they're at. But man, that would be cool. What a little badass. And then, so like you said, we get 2 Luger finishes on the show. Malcolm Bivens gives a promo where he reminds everybody that his faction is extremely successful, actually. And I was like, what a great manager, reminding us that Ivy Nile is a badass. The tag team that he has is just dominating the tag team division, and that he has a champion with him. Like, what a fantastic promo by Malcolm Bivens, and like a nice reminder that because there's been so much start and stop with Malcolm Bivens in general, and because Diamond Mine has gone through turmoil as a unit, for him to just take a second and remind everyone that literally everybody he picked is winning all the time was such a great call, and he did it. It was real short and real effective, and exactly what a manager should be doing. And Malcolm Bivens continues to be a national treasure. And if you didn't see on social media him wishing Xia Li, I think we talked about it last week, but he was like, congrats to her on the main roster. She told me she's going out to get some milk and just never came back. So congrats to her. Amazing. He is so valuable to this brand, and he made sense even in this new context. You go, Malcolm Bivens.
Yeah. Man, it's so funny because Malcolm Bivens is a great manager. And it shouldn't feel like, wow, that was great when you just see a manager putting over his client on the mic.
It's like what happens when you get a clean win now on the main roster.
Yeah.
It's like, holy crap. No,
it's so unexpected at this point that it qualifies as reinventing the wheel to have a manager just like, hey, here's this person who I manage. They're great. Here's these people I manage. They're undefeated. And this person's a champion. I sure can pick them, can't I? And like, oh my God, this is amazing. It's like, no, it's just what managers should do.
But I will say it is a little bit more outstanding because it's easy to... So much has happened that I feel like that actually all could have gotten lost in the shuffle. Yeah. So for him to like just take that second, nothing novel about it, but I forgot all of those things. Mm-hmm. Not all of them, but like that collectively his group is incredible. Yes. Like that was really well done because like so much has happened in the past few weeks.
Yeah. So then Bivens introduces Roddy Strong, who hasn't really talked since, like, he used to cut promos. He used to be part of promos. He's not bad at talking, but Bivens talks for him. He's about to talk, and then Ike Manjiro shows up, and Ike Manjiro doesn't win a lot of matches, but he thinks he's going to get a cruiserweight title shot, and Julius Creed is like, no. You want to get with my boy, you got to go through me first. And then Julius Creed decides he's going to be Arn Anderson Jr. And he lifts up his shirt and says, I'm always strapped. and as as one of our co-hosts, and forgive me, I forget which one it was, on Twitter said, I think it was Phil, says, when somebody lifts up their shirt and says, "I'm always strapped," a singlet is not what you expect to find under there. And I guess maybe he meant, hey, singlets have straps, so I'm always wearing a singlet because I'm always ready to fight. But yeah, it was a very, very odd thing to say. But he was wearing a singlet, so he's like, "Let's fight." And Ikemenjiro punches him, and what I loved about it is that the punch knocked him down, a much bigger guy.
Yes.
But he immediately popped back up, and he was like, "That was a mistake that you made."
Yeah.
And I thought that was a cool way of doing both things. Like, he didn't no-sell the punch, but he also was like, "Now I'm gonna have to kick your ass." And guess what? He did. Like, you get Julius Creed in there having his first singles match, and Ikemenjiro gets in some offense, but he's big and he's smart and he uses like all kinds of cool like wrestling takedowns and stuff. And he finishes with one of my favorite finishing moves in all of NXT 2.0, the unnecessary clothesline. I love it. I think it's really cool. You already beat the dude. Hit him one more time for good measure. Like and a pinch to grow an inch on your mom's birthday. And that's what you got to do. Boom. That was great. I loved it.
Yeah, this was really solid. To your point, Miro is also great at that, of appropriately selling moves, but then just rebounding like you're gonna pay for that. That's a really important piece of storytelling when you're someone who's built like a monster, but you have to obviously make it seem like you're impacted by something, right? So you have to figure out a way to make that marriage work. This was a really great example of that, to your point. Solid enough match. I don't know why at this point Jiro would ever be near any title picture, because he just has fashion and
he's over with the crowd, but you got to book him to win some matches. Like the crowd likes him. They're chanting for him. They really like watching him. He's a fun dude. He wrestles with a jacket and he punches people in the face with his jacket. Like it's fun, but there are any number of people that he could beat along the way to becoming a serious contender for some championship. Until then,
in their defense, he might not need to for a while. Like, they might not have him near a title picture for a little bit, so that's fine. But also, wins and losses don't matter anymore. So yeah, maybe he will.
Wins and losses don't matter. Remember, it's all likes and clicks.
It's all
likes and swipes.
Likes and swipes.
The Nacho Man Normie Summers says, "Happy birthday, Kate's mom. Nickelodeon ecstasy trip equals poopy. BTE Open and 2.0 with the BTE title equal juicy. Quit making me laugh. I'm trying to eat some gabagool over here. Forget about it."
Stay cool, gabagool. Is it gabagool stay cool or
no? Keep cool, gabagool.
Keep cool, gabagool. That's
keep cool,
gabagool.
Yeah,
like wild crocodile. Yeah. Sean, I want 20% of all of the super chats that my mom is getting. I'm just throwing that out there. Thank you.
Tim McFall says, "I've never super chatted before." Well, I thank you for us being your first. But here's some money for having to watch this S word for Kate's mom's birthday, because the Dong Lord asked for it, but mostly because KALEX are the Lucha Bros of wrestling YouTube. So anyway, they beat up Jiro at the end.
Thank you for the super chat, by the way. That's a big one.
Yeah, that was a very nice super chat. And then Kushida comes in and to save Ikemenjiro, and I'm sure we'll get a Creed Bros versus Kushida and Ikemenjiro match. Kushida doesn't have a place here anymore. He doesn't have a place here anymore. Like, Kushida's a guy who can just like, you can go. We're not going to do. We're not.
Do you think they're going to make him a tag team with Jiro? That's where I thought this might go, because
they'll definitely have a tag match, but I don't know if they're going to make them a tag team. That could be fun, I suppose. Like, have him go back to his Marty McFly gimmick. And it'd be Marty McFly and the guy.
I think it would be fun.
Well, Vince definitely thinks they can coexist, because they're both from the same foreign country, and therefore they can coexist.
That's all that matters.
Yeah. The problem was with Mansoor and Ali is that Mansoor's from Saudi Arabia, and although Mustafa Ali has a name that sounds Saudi Arabian-ish, he's not actually from there, and that was the problem.
They can't coexist.
That was why they can't coexist.
One of the better told stories, though, I will say. I feel like, which doesn't mean much right now.
Doesn't mean much. So Raquel Gonzalez is backstage, and she says that it's she wants the challenge for Halloween Havoc, but it's going to be a spin the wheel, make the deal match.
This is my favorite part of Halloween
which they had all going back a long ways, but the only one I remember is the one where it was a shoot. Like they did spin the wheel, make the deal. And honestly, they didn't rig the wheel. It was just like whatever the wheel landed on. And it landed on coal miner's glove match. Nobody knew what the hell a coal miner's glove match was, least of all the people in the match. And it was hilarious. It was just a big, heavy glove. And whoever got it got to punch somebody with it. And that was it. It was just like the war. There were some really cool, like buried alive match and really cool things. Like if you're going to maybe make all the things on the wheel equally cool, or weight the wheel so the one that you really want to do is the one. But nobody knew what the fuck Gold Matters Love match was.
That's the gimmick pay-per-views. That's done right. Like nobody knows what this even means, but now it's a device in the match. Beautiful.
Yeah. Okay. But I missed some super chats. I'm gonna go back to talking about Ciampa and Breakker. Brendan Towngate says Braun Breakker should have random percentages on his t-shirts. That's true. And another one that would be really good. Sean Blanford says that Braun's got to bleach his beard and then never mention it at all. Happy birthday, Kate's mom, from Sean Blanford.
Thank you, Sean.
And Ian the Weird says, if Ciampa's Sicilian, can he be the muscle that Tony brings in when someone owes a debt? And I'm like, I think we figured out tonight that Tony does his own debt collecting. Like he doesn't need anybody else.
Sure seems so I would like for it to be Sophia from the Golden Girls if it's going to be anybody. Picture this. I did it. I broke Alex.
I don't know why I love that so much because she is very Sicilian. But I just love the idea that the ghost of Estelle Getty is gonna be Tony D'Angelo's muscle.
Yeah, like, she is.
Yeah, just like
She was the sass that held that whole house together.
You messed up now, Estelle. Could you come down here and kick his ass? That would be so great.
You in the trunk. Hey, we all go get cheesecake on the lanai.
Oh, God. Sicily, 1943. And then the line drive says the only time Ciampa wasn't up on his protection money was when he was representing Muhammad Hassan in his short-lived law career. Undertaker premium protection money is costly. Just ask the New Day. Yeah, it's true. The New Day found out the hard way. Oh my goodness. Okay. Raquel calls herself the Queen of the Mountain. So there's Queen's Crown, and they put that. I guess we'll talk about it over when they talk about that when they do that match. Good Lord. But yeah, they ran there's a super chat about this. They ran a commercial. They showed a Raw ad during the show that they're talking up the King of the Ring and the Queen's Crown thing. And as I mentioned, whenever they run this ad for the King of the Ring tournament and the Queen's Crown tournament, they show Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre, Sasha Banks, and Charlotte Flair. None of those people are in the tournament.
Well, they would show the people that are in the tournament, but they weren't on screen long enough to get any real clips.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's true. Oh gosh. So now we get we get the what's the next thing that I missed something? I have to go back. Oh no, here's what we get. We get this friggin' thing. Jesus Christ. Sorry. Poor Kyle O'Reilly. Poor Kyle O'Reilly. Poor Kyle O'Reilly.
Oh, it's okay. His contract's expiring soon.
Is it? I hope so.
In a few months, yeah.
Oh God, poor Kyle O'Reilly.
He's gonna go.
He's gonna go
to AEW.
He's gonna go reform Red Dragon. It'll be fun.
They're gonna do a whole thing.
It'll be good. But jeez. Now remember how I said there's all these guys from the previous era of NXT that you could use to put over people. Can you not do that with Kyle O'Reilly and Von Wagner? Is that not a thing we could do, please?
Dude, this was bad.
Well,
my heart does not heal as fast as Kyle O'Reilly's when my trust has been broken. It takes more than one dude to come by and say, "Hey, you should just be my friend."
Von Wagner is able to get Kyle O'Reilly to trust again. Like, why did you call up Ridge and not Pete? Like, I don't want Pete to be stuck down here doing this stuff. Like, this match was the longest match on the night, I think, by far. It felt like it went forever. There was a commercial in the middle of it. Like, it was just, ooh, jeez. But Von Wagner beats up people, and I don't know, man. At one point, he's like, "Do it, Kyle, do it. Kick his ass." And Kyle's like, "Okay, I'm going to do it because you told me to, Von Wagner. You're my friend." And he jumps off the apron and knees Pete Dunne in the face, which allows Von Wagner to do his, I don't know, whatever the hell his finisher is to Ridge Holland. Vaya con Dios, Ridge Holland. Thanks for stopping by. We'll see you on SmackDown in a couple of weeks. I don't know. Like, Von Wagner just seems like the most generic thing.
Wrestler.
Like it was like if he's just a generic build-a-wrestler. Like, you like, okay, well, I'm going to use hair preset number 17, and I'm going to turn the sliders way up on brow size, and I'm not going to change anything else about him. And I'm going to give him generic moveset number 4, and I'm just going to throw him out there in developmental because I don't want to take all the time to really create him. I'm just going to put him in developmental, and then we'll start out the first match like, oh, wow, I know the controls, and this is on step super easy, so I'm winning now. Like, that's what it feels like.
Remember earlier, like 2 hours ago, when you said some storytelling is better than no storytelling? It would be nice
this doesn't count. This isn't storytelling.
I was gonna say it's not. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, this was, and I always try to like offer alternatives when I'm being hypercritical, and I don't know what to even say here. Maybe Kyle O'Reilly should just take Adam Cole's gimmick and just be like, "Kyle O'Reilly, baby!" You go out. That's my alternative suggestion.
Like, if they did like fake Razor Ramon and fake Diesel, but it was fake Adam Cole, and it's just Kyle O'Reilly playing Adam Cole with a wig. And cool Kyle, baby!
Oh, man.
Aaron World Order says Von Wagner should be named Count Von Wagner.
I would like that better. It would be a more fleshed out gimmick.
maybe eventually they'll explain why Von Wagner like picks Kyle to be his buddy. I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense to me right now, but maybe they'll try and make it make sense, or maybe they'll just finish out the story.
Give us Odd Couple vignettes instead of Chase University. Yes. I would take that.
Yeah.
Like Von Wagner's the hyper OCD clean one, and then Kyle O'Reilly's a sloth.
Yeah. Oh boy.
I know we don't read super chats on air or chats on air that aren't super chats, but somebody in the chat just said, "No, Kate, no." Cool suggestion. Fair enough. All right, I see your counterpoint. I get it.
So this was again one of the longest segments of the entire night. We got nothing. We got nothing. Nobody super chat anything about it because nobody cares.
There's no meat on the bone here. The match was perfectly serviceable, but
it's fine.
None of this mattered.
It's fine. It's a as I said, as I used to say all the time on the post shows I would do with Sean when I was doing the post shows for Raw and SmackDown. I would do. There's nothing wrong with this match. It's a perfectly cromulent wrestling match. Nothing wrong with it. It's perfectly cromulent. And I swear to God, I don't think he ever knew what I was saying, what word I was talking about when I was doing the Simpsons. It's a perfectly cromulent wrestling match. And he'd be like, "Yeah, no," he would never pop at it, didn't recognize it at all. But I thought that was really funny. It's a perfectly cromulent wrestling match.
Perfectly cromulent.
And that's it. There's nothing else about it. There's not whatever. It's fine. I guess it advances this Von Wagner and Kyle O'Reilly story to what end? They beat Pete Dunne and Ridge Holland, who are the guys who tormented Kyle. Kyle won. Now what? Is it next week where we find out that Von Wagner is going to turn on him, and then they have a match at Halloween Havoc, and then Von Wagner wins, and that's it? I honestly
No, I think this has to go longer because if the whole thing was that he was trying to repair Kyle's trust, the betrayal has to be bigger, right?
Well, you would think, but no. Last night,
but
the last night, Mustafa Ali got pinned by Cedric Alexander's third finishing move, not his even secondary, his tertiary finishing move, and blamed Mansoor. And they broke up because Mansoor needs to beat somebody at Sands of time and for no other reason. So yeah, they can break up. They break up teams because they wanna. That's it.
I feel like we need a couple more tag matches that include a DQ and several rematches first, if we're really being developmental for Raw.
They wanna push this Von Wagner. They wanna push him. So let me see. I'm gonna miss anything.
So today. They earned it.
Yeah, that's true. Andre. Okay, the Andre Chase stuff. Maybe it's the fact that he's teaching in an actual university. If he was doing if he was doing the Toothless Timmy gimmick, where he was teaching a wrestling class in a wrestling ring. Okay, what if they said it was Coach Chase's film study? Because that's what he's doing. He's showing film of Odyssey Jones matches. He decided he doesn't like Odyssey Jones, so he's going to pick on Odyssey Jones and all the things Odyssey Jones does wrong. That's it. Why is he doing it in a classroom at a university? Couldn't he just be? I would much better him be a wrestling coach and teaching. Here's film. This is Odyssey Jones made a mistake. He should have put the foot on the rope so the ref could see it, which is actually good advice. Now, he did cheat and cost Odyssey Jones the match, and that's the point that the student points out. But the student could point that out in a wrestling school film study class, as opposed to you have all paid thousands of dollars in tuition to come to this university that I made up. Like, none of that makes any sense. I don't know why we're doing that instead.
So my actual answer is they probably don't want it to feel too much like the shoot PC, especially right now when there's so much unrest. Or maybe he's just a really big fan of that Justin Long movie that had Lewis Black in it. What's the name of that movie? Where they start their own university?
I don't remember.
Oh, what's the name of it? Somebody in the chat tell us. It was Justin Long. They made up a university. Crap. Anyway.
That wasn't PCU, was it? No.
No.
I don't know what the hell it was. Who cares?
Accepted.
Anyway,
thank you, people in the chat. The name of the movie is Accepted.
Accepted. Yes,
but I don't.
But then again, accepted is another form of the word acceptance, which we figured out is a heel thing.
That is a bad thing. Yeah,
that's a bad thing. If you are accepted into things, you're bad. So Chase snaps on this guy Brandon, who's whatever. Like, go down the hall and join Steve in the dumbass class, which I guess is kind of funny, but like, whatever the hell this is, like,
that's
Jesus.
Fine.
It I guess, like, you know how much you hate, you know how much you hate Joe Gacy calling the ring a safe space.
Yes,
that's how much I hate that Andre Chase has his own university.
That's fair.
That ostensibly students have like filled out FAFSAs to try and get into. Like, they wanted to go to Harvard, but they couldn't get in, so their secondary school was Andre Chase University. Like, it boggles my mind.
I'm also not convinced that just because they're in a classroom setting that it's not a wrestling university or something. You know what I mean? Like, I think of it.
I suppose. I guess the fact that he's wearing an old-timey college sweater that says "Chase You." Maybe that's what kind of.
He's gonna chase you around for your tuition. I think the reason I'm giving this a little bit lighter of a curve is because it's like at least building a feud with someone in a wrestling context. Like he's building a feud here with Odyssey Jones. So like. Yeah. I'm at least giving it the credit for that like we're getting multiple vignettes that have to do with something that's headed toward a match that's creating a feud without several thousand rematches like we see on programming all over the place. So I'm at least giving it that.
Yeah.
We've just started a conversation about the movie Accepted in our chat because nobody cares about NXT.
At some point during this night, I don't know when because it's not in my notes, which I get from some other website, but like I don't know when it happened, but oh God, Lash Legend has another lashing out, and if you remember from last week, I told her she was allowed to have one more show because Tony D'Angelo was going to be on her show, and I love Tony D'Angelo, and then she has the show, and there's things all happening. She makes a Squid Game joke, which is really friggin' stupid. And I'm like, where's Tony D'Angelo? Is he going to be on the show? Because there's not an extra chair for him to sit in, and I'm getting really concerned. and then she talks to her producer, Mark, who's off stage. We don't see him. And she says, that guy, Tony D'Angelo, want to be on my show. What happened? Like, I told him we had a scheduling conflict and you couldn't do it at some other time. It's like, well, you can't. You want to be on my show, Tony D'Angelo? I got 3 words for you. And it would have been so much funnier if she said, I got 2 words for you. But she didn't say it. Forget about it. Would have been funny if she said 2 words. She said 3 words, and that's actually the number of words that are in Forget About It. Anyway,
forget about it 1 word.
Forget about it is 1 word, which is like one. Like forget about it is 3 words. Forget about it is 1 word. So 2 words is not
funnier.
Either things. So therefore,
and if she did this,
yeah,
you have to do the suck it move, but you have to say forget about it. Gabagool.
Forget about it. And I'm like, Last Legend, you are dead to me. You insulted my best friend, Tony D'Angelo. You wouldn't have him on your show. And I was so angry that I thought they were going to not have him in a segment at all this week, and I was going to have somebody whacked. And I'm very happy to say that
my best friend. I should be insulted as your co-host who you've actually met, but I'm not. I can't be.
Tony D'Angelo is my best friend in the whole world.
Friend.
Yes. I'm gonna do a single white female on him. I totally am. I'm just gonna show up and I'm like, I'm you, Tony. So anyway, I'm here to take your place. So anyway, anyway, Tony has a segment, and I didn't have to have anybody whacked. And he's so natural at this, and I just can't believe how he just does it so easy. That's what I love about it. He's just so effortless with this character. And
too easy, you know what I mean?
Maybe a little, but he says, so the streets are talking about my last week's my successful debut last week. I want to give props to my opponent, Maluk, Malcolm, whatever his name is. I don't know his name. But I remember I was just outside the Lashing Out show, and some producer, some frigging guy, he comes out. He says, we got a scheduling conflict. You forget about it. I do things on my own time. Hey, producer, he's a nice guy. And he walks away, and there's the trunk is like the car he was leaning on the whole time. He was doing the promo in front of the car. And about 5 seconds into the promo, I was like, please tell me the producer's in the trunk. Please tell me the producer's in the trunk. And the producer was in the trunk. And I was so happy about it. Kate, I was so happy.
And he kind of just really put him over as a nice guy a couple times too.
Yeah.
He's like, nice guy, that guy.
Yeah.
I went from ironically loving Tony D'Angelo to every week a little more. I'm just falling in love with him.
Oh my goodness. He Ricardo Lilo says, hey, there may or may not be a body in this trunk. If there is, I didn't put it there. I don't know nothing. Charlie Davis says NXT 2.0 is like when Marty wakes up in the alternate 1985 in Back to the Future 2. It's all a nightmare that only looks slightly familiar, except for Tony. Tony's the good thing. Tony's my constant. And Joey Bag of Donuts says there needs to be a keep cool Gabagool shirt. There does. Oh, Sean, do that. Sean. And then cut us in because we made it happen.
Yeah. You could design it right now and we'll be off at some point.
Just do it. We'll all be wearing it. Everybody will wear one. Brennan Towngate says, I want to see Tony D'Angelo wear a locket with a picture of Sophia from Golden Girls in it. And he says
you are welcome.
And he opens it up and he says, my grandmother, her memory gives me strength, Gabagool. I love it. I think that he should like the whole thing about him being this mob guy is obviously an act, and I want the facade to crumble at some point. I think it'd be kind of funny if like he was doing this thing and then, oh my God, that's not who I am at all. But the holes, the cracks in the facade show where he says that this is my grandmother. That's not your grandmother. That's Estelle Getty. What do you? That's not a picture of your grandmother. That's Estelle Getty from Golden Girls. And what are you talking about? That's my grandmother. Hey, she practically raised me.
I want him to show no cracks in his facade and to take the title from Roman Reigns at WrestleMania.
The Nacho Man, Normie Summers.
Acknowledge me.
The Nacho Man. Hey, acknowledge me, you vagabond. Yeah. Hey, I got your head of the table right here.
My bloodline runs deeper than yours.
Hey, you want to see some blood in your bloodline? You watch out. The Macho Man, the Nacho Man, Normie Summers says, I want a spelling bee at age 7. It's FUGGEDABOUTIT. You jabronis gabagool. Yes, that's absolutely how you spell it. I really think that they've got something here. I was really worried about it. The fact that he wasn't on the show until he was. I thought they did a thing where they were like, "Oh, yeah, we didn't want you to be over. We were trying to kind of bury you with this gimmick, and you made it work. And now we got to cool you off because the crowd likes you. We want them to not like you. We want them to laugh at you, and they really, really enjoy you. Like yeah. So we're gonna have to figure out a way to make them not like you because we want them to not like you. Like that's just the like because they would absolutely do something like that. If the plan was always we want you to be a laughingstock character everyone kind of hates, but all of a sudden the crowd loves him, they would totally be like, well, we got to cut bait on this thing. We're not going to right the ship and go this way because that's the way the crowd is pushing us.
But, and Sean has said this about main roster talents, and he's right. Once you show Vince you're funny, you're never anything else again.
That's
so
true.
If it catches, like, look at the Viking Raiders. They're a laughingstock now. Look at Riddle. He's only ever going to be funny again. Yeah. So they know he's funny now, so he will be funny till forever, and it'll run its course, and they'll drive it into the ground until it's glue.
Yeah. No. Maxie S says Roman has nothing. Roman, you got nothing on my family jewels. Hey, gabagool.
We're saving you characters on your super chats by just adding the gabagools in our.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
We're saving you money out there.
Yeah. So we had a Grayson Waller versus Duke Hudson professional poker player match. Like he mentioned like when he lost to Carmelo Hayes, he cut a cool promo after. He was like, "Did I take him too lightly?" Yeah. Was I out until 6 a.m. the night before the match playing high stakes poker? Yeah, I was, because I didn't take him seriously enough. But I know Carmelo Hayes could never beat me at my best. Also, I won $17,000 in that poker game. So I think I'm up ahead. Next time I come up against Carmelo Hayes, I'm going to kick his ass. And he completely saved losing that match in this very natural thing. And Vince saw that promo and said, boom, it's not a throwaway line. Now you are a poker player. And it's just like, can't
I said this the other day.
Cool? And
Vince has now confused that thing that they talk about of it's yourself turned up to 10. He's now confused that with you're now a poker player. Tony Storm is now obsessed with the 80s. He's confused the like turn yourself up part with take turn piece of your gimmick up to 10.
Turn yourself up to 10. No. Here's your wacky gimmick. Turn that up to 10.
Up to 10. Yeah, he's confused those two, and it's never going back. The saddest, most astute observation I've made on the show, I think.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh no.
So Grayson Waller gets a pre-recorded message, and like people always ask me about my ring gear. Me, I do that. I always ask about your ring gear. Says I was a former Golden Gloves boxing champion in Australia. I don't know if that's true, but it explains the gear, which is good. He says Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, they all know me. Do they really? Like I don't know that they do, but good
Tyson
on you.
Fury might have, because he was in WWE for a minute.
Possibly. But I think before Grayson Waller. So he says, I'm a natural predator, and even though Hudson is a poker champion, I'm all in tonight. And Waller does the best in the match, I guess. And Hudson takes a lot of the offense. And there's a weird thing. Like Waller rolls Hudson for a 2 count. But Duke Hudson gets up. And I guess he like moves the rope by kicking it, so Grayson can't do a springboard thing with it. It was a very odd thing, but Grayson Waller just fell down. Like he tried to like bounce, like do like a thing.
I know the spot.
He tried to do like a thing off the middle rope, but Hudson kicked it as he tried to bounce off of it, and he just fell on his back. And then Hudson rolled him up with a handful of tights.
Yeah, so I feel like
And that was
something went
it.
wrong there. I don't think that was a planned spot.
N-
That was weird.
I mean, that felt very much like what the intentional finish was. And I hate it because they've gotten to a thing where they're like, oh, well, people are like, why does everybody always have to win the match with a finisher? Well, how about this? How about they win the match with nothing? Like Doudrop beating Natalya last night, where she won a match with nothing. How about Duke Hudson one night by winning a match with nothing? Like he didn't do anything, and that's not great. Like there's no reason why Duke Hudson couldn't have done the thing that knocked him on his back and disoriented him, then picked him up and done his finisher, and then got the win. Like I guess you got to be protecting Grayson Waller by having him get rolled up.
Doing. This is like them cutting the ropes on Finn.
Well, I mean, that is taking the we're gonna protect this guy with our terrible booking and turning that up to 11.
10. Perfect.
Yeah, like
Go to 11.
Oh, Jesus Christ. It's just
Spinal
so
Tap.
bad.
That's actually the perfect movie analogy for what's going on Raw is Spinal Tap.
JW Pringle says regarding this match, remember when WWE Pro Wrestling had clean finishes? Pepperidge Farm remembers. Yeah. The Line Drive says that I've taken to calling Von Wagner Plank because he's so wooden. I guess that makes KOR Jimmy from Ed, Ed, and Eddie. Yeah. The Brendan Towngate mentioning we were talking about the Queen's Crown tournament and how they had 8 minutes and 7 seconds of wrestling over 4 matches in the first round, which is just irredeemable. But he says the women's triple threat on the most recent episode of ROH was 1, longer than all the first round matches of the Queen's Round tournament combined, and 2, very enjoyable. Also, we are very entertaining. So thank you very much, Brendan Towngate. So the Nerd Guru says something that, yeah, it's he says the last crop of NXT women's champs is not great. Rhea lost to Charlotte for no reason. Io reigned with no fans. Raquel is stale, and next is Mandy. Sigh. Well, here's the deal. Rhea was great. She was fantastic. They booked her like crap. They booked her to lose to Charlotte for no reason. That is true. She was great. She was riding high. It was amazing. I somehow believe they would have had her beat Charlotte if the match had been done in the Tampa Stadium in front of all the fans. If the match had been done and there was no COVID, I still think they would have had Rhea win because it would have been a big crowning thing in front of a lot of fans. Io reigned with no fans. You can't do anything about that. She was great as the champion, whatever. Raquel is stale. Your mileage may vary. I don't think they've done enough with her recently, but her early run was great. Like she was just smashing people. Like her being Io in that rematch was amazing. Like there's some good stuff. And yes, next is Mandy. And yes, sigh. But that's the thing we're looking for here. I feel like there were a lot of women I think that thought they were going to be next in line, and they're not next in line anymore.
You want to know what breaks my heart?
What's that?
Nikki ASH wasn't even mentioned as far as champion.
Well, I think they were talking about NXT.
Just NXT. Well, yeah,
NXT champions. But yes,
in that case, yeah, like Rhea was great, and so much of what happened with her was like the inevitable handwriting on the wall that she was A, going to get called up, and B, like I even just her match, I was just thinking about like her and Mercedes Martinez in a steel cage. Like that was awesome. Like Rhea was fantastic. So
Rhea had an amazing run after no longer being champion. Like she had that match with Dakota Kai that was great. She had that match with Raquel when neither of them were had the title. That was that False Count Anywhere match that was just awesome. Like she had an amazing run. They took the title off of her, and then she still stayed in NXT for a long time and was great.
It was great
in NXT. Yeah. Like it wasn't her fault that they did her dirty.
And Raquel too. They kind of the way they built her to the title was so good, and then she had a really good first half of her reign, and now it's kind of fallen off. But that's just the transitional time that we're in right now, I think.
Did you catch the spooky thing? There's going to be a debut or maybe a return with it's probably a return with a rejiggered gimmick. The person in coveralls on the black and white thing dragging a shovel through a foggy forest, talking in a weird robot voice.
Yeah,
they're going to come back at Halloween Havoc. You don't need to have the person do it. If you're going to whack out their voice, you could have somebody like be a narrator over it. But she says, I'm going to start again, which means English, Australian, or Kiwi, New Zealand, which means I think it's Dakota Kai.
Oh,
she didn't get called up. She can't be Dakota Kai anymore. She's got to be something different.
Yeah.
But they changed the like. I'm going to start again, and I'm like, okay, so start.
Yeah, that could be her.
And I'm like, it's definitely a woman. It's definitely a woman's voice, even if they tried to whack it out. It's not. I don't know, but it was like, but it didn't make me feel good about it being like, I don't want to see Dakota Kai as the spooky girl. I don't want to see that.
It would only be for Halloween Havoc, though.
That she's going to be spooky.
Yeah,
yes. I would hope. I would hope.
I'm fine with it for just that. For just Halloween Havoc. Halloween Havoc, I have a weird special place in my heart.
Well, yeah, listen, they figure a way to make for it to be good. Legado del Fantasma does his Santos does his promo. It's a shame what happened to Hit Row earlier, which is kind of funny if we didn't have footage of you doing it. Like if it was Tony D'Angelo going, "Hey, I heard about what happened to your friends. It's a shame what happened. I mean, listen, if you need anybody to investigate what might have gone down, you let me know, because I perhaps may have known things that may have happened, but you must ask me, with a little bit of green, capiche?" But no, it's not. Santos Escobar saying, "Hey, it's too bad what happened to your friends. I know I did it. You know I did it because the camera saw it." It's just a weird thing for him to admit, but whatever. I do have my familia, and you don't, but I made them promise to stay in the back for the match. Sure, you did.
Why is nobody calling the cops?
I don't know. It's because nothing. Anything that happens on the NXT campus is nice and legal.
Yeah, it sure seems that way.
Indy Hartwell and Persia Pirotta versus Saray and Amari Miller. Somebody tell me why Saray and Amari Miller are a tag team. I thought you were building Saray to something, but no. And I miss Zeta Ramir. I don't know if she's hurt, but I thought she had a lot of potential in that match she had with Toni Storm months ago. They teased something with her and Saray getting together. They teased something with her and Zoe Stark getting together before they, whatever. I don't understand. I liked her a lot. Maybe she's hurt. But I do follow her on Twitter, and she saw something, and she said, "This really made me smile, and I needed that today." And I don't know what that's about. It could be anything. But yeah, she's I thought was super talented. I wanted to see her more on my TV. And Amari Miller, I think we skipped over this when she had her singles debut. Her entrance is her standing at the top of the ramp, and there are bubbles everywhere, and she's jumping, trying to pop the bubbles. And I don't feel like that's a thing that's going to get over in any way, but okay.
I mean, Bailey Buddy's dead, so who are we to say?
Didn't Emma, when she was dancing, didn't she have bubbles?
I think she did. I think you're right.
Remember this? That was the thing they did. They did this, and that was the thing they said, "Hey, your new gimmick is this. This is your gimmick. Now turn it up to 11." Yeah. So Persia in Indy. I mean, well, Dexter Lumis is around, so he didn't die during sex because we had no idea what happened to him.
Correct.
But he's there, and they leave him backstage. We'll talk about this. So the match happens. During the match, Beth Phoenix has the nerve to be like, everybody's talking about the Queen's Crown tournament. Everyone is on social media talking about how we need to let our women show themselves more. But I don't know how you couldn't love what we saw from these women. I'm like, I know Indy and Persia Parada are all thinking about the Queen's Crown tournament. They're not in it. Why are they
That's
thinking?
what got me, because I was like, Beth is right. Everyone's talking about it negatively. But
yeah, I know.
Is talking about it, and I was like, why would Indy Hartwell be thinking about the Queen's Crown tournament, other than being in disgust that this is how our coworkers are getting treated?
I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
Yeah. So anyway,
not great.
Yeah, not great, Bob.
Not
great. Indy wins with her elbow drop, and she gets the pin on Miller, and that's it. Then they take the mic and they say they want a shot at the NXT Women's Tag Team titles. Why wouldn't they have a shot at the NXT Women's Tag Team titles? They've won one match, so obviously they're next in line. That's
one less victory than you would need for the main roster tag team titles, because there's not a division. So it's true. Sense. But so then Io and Zoe come out, and Io says to Indy and Persia, "I don't like you. I don't like you." And then she turns to Zoe and says, "And I don't like," and Zoe cuts her off. Yeah, we know this is all very cringe. And then Gigi and JJ come out, and we don't give a damn about anybody but you. Well, we're here for the titles, batch. And there's a huge brawl with all three teams, and so we're probably getting a triple threat at Halloween Havoc. I guess. Yes? No? I don't know. Probably. How do you make being a bet spooky? I'm kind of intrigued now. Are they going to be frightening levels?
No. Like, see over her over there, she's a sexy vampire, and over there she's a sexy Frankenstein, and I'm a sexy batch. Like, is that it?
I'm a mouse. Duh.
Yeah. A triple threat at Halloween Havoc was announced, apparently, according to the chat.
Okay.
Hooray.
Saray.
Saray! Not Saray. So here we go. Grayson Waller, I talks like, "Hey, Cora Jade, how you doing?" And she's like, and walks away. And I don't know what her deal is. Maybe she lost her little tiny skateboard. I don't know what her deal was. But he walks up to this girl in a blue dress and it's like, "Hey, so I just had a match. I'm gonna shower. Why don't you get freshened up?" She looks perfectly freshened up to me, Grayson. I don't know what you're talking about. And I'll take you out. And then Grimes walks up. How'd you do that? I've been trying to get a girl all the time. She's amazing. What's going on? It's like, it's like, where do I find the girl? He says, "Why don't you shave your beard and shave your chest, and then you'll get a girl?" And he says, "Well, after I do all that, where do I find the girl?" It's like, have you ever tried dating apps?
And he proceeded to say that there's blondes and redheads and women with all different hair colors. How diverse these dating apps are.
You see, here's a blonde
Rose from 3 months ago and Mandy Rose from now could conceivably be on these dating apps.
And this is where you say it's not about. It's like, but didn't you just lose a match? It's like, it's not about wins and losses, mate. It's about likes and swipes. And that's just it, man. That's all of NXT 2.0. It's not about wins and losses.
Also, what is with the plethora of hot women that just hang out backstage at NXT now? Just sitting around waiting to be objectified? What?
It's not for you, Kate. It's for a 62-year-old white guy. That's who it's for. 62-year-old white guy who doesn't know how to go to porn sites still has to watch and see a hot girl in a blue dress and let his mind wander.
He thinks Mandy Rose is Trish Stratus. That's what that is. He doesn't have his glasses on. This is all making sense.
Oh, good God. Yeah, it was ridiculous. It's like, so here's the thing. Now I need Cameron Grimes to use all of his money that he got from the GameStop stonks to develop an app that is like farmersonly.com, but it's just for dudes who talk like Cameron Grimes. I don't know what we call it, but it's just cameronsonly.com. And
Cameron's only to the moon.
To the moon. Like I don't know. Make it work. Make it work.
Oh, man.
I know we missed something. Did we miss any? We miss. Oh, there was a little promo thing that was Seifa Fatu.
Oh yeah.
But now he's Soa Sikoa, and he says my wins and losses you won't find, and no one's ever recorded them because they all happened on the streets. I was the what do you call himself? The warrior of the island or something or whatever. And yeah, so cool. Seifa Fatu is now Solo Sikoa. Let's see what happens when he shows up. I'll bet you anything he winds up in a tag team with Zion Quinn after they changed his name again because they're both Samoan, and so therefore they can coexist.
Yep. Again, not to keep shouting out people that aren't super chatting us, but call it to the swoon and only cams. I'm here for those.
To the swoon and only cams is awesome. Only cams is great. Yeah, I don't care. You didn't tap. That's good. I want that.
You can't even get through the registration field unless your name is Cameron.
Oh boy.
Amazing.
Okay, so I'm gonna do some more super chats before I get in the main event. We'll do main event, and then I'll do all the friggin' requests. So stick around for that. Balab says, "Man, I wish I cared about this brand enough to watch it live anymore."
We got you, boo. We got you.
That's true. Shot Kid 29 says, "I think I'm done with NXT after Halloween Havoc." Why are you waiting that long? But between AEW, ROH, MLW, New Japan, Stardom, Impact, JCW, etc., I think we'll be fine. That's true. You can be done with NXT, but please, Shot Kid, don't be done with us. Come back every Tuesday and listen to us make fun of it.
And if it gets better, we'll tell you. Like if there's a point where there's stuff like worth tuning in for, we'll let you know. So always keep coming back here. But yeah, we said this last week. If you were into NXT 1, check out ROH. Check out MLW. Seems to be back on track a little bit. That Fatu Hammerstone match was fantastic. So
you said if it gets better. I almost made it through that with a straight face. If it gets better.
Alex, I'm trying to keep them coming here.
But no, keep coming back for the Tony D'Angelo impressions. That's the only reason. JW Pringle says WWE makes Pawn Stars look believable.
Accurate.
Aaron Miller says, "Let's go Red Sox." But
Banned,
seriously,
banned from the chat, Joel. Please.
I miss the old NXT, a show that actually mattered. Thank you for all the hard work. See, he's appreciative of us, even if he likes the wrong teams. Brent Lockman says NXT is the only thing I watch, or at least until the show pisses me off. Stop watching and then wait for the post show as it's better. Hail KALEX. Thank you, Brent.
Thank you so much.
Brendan Towngate says, "It feels like NXT 2.0 could be hilarious, amazing TV if it wasn't a wrestling show. Just have these bizarre people interacting in this odd world."
Oh my God, I love that idea. If NXT was just a reality show and they all had to live in the same house,
yeah,
nobody would vote D'Angelo out because they'd be like, I vote him out. I'm going to get 69 down the other. I said 69.
69. That's what happens on onlycams.com.
was just trying to put something enjoyable into people's lives, I guess.
Sure. So, Swerve had his North American championship match versus Santos Escobar, which was a foregone conclusion. We knew that Escobar was going to win, right? Because there's no way that Swerve could go up to SmackDown and take the North American championship with him. Listen, you can say all you want about NXT 2.0, but these guys are 1.0 all the way through and through, and they showed it tonight. I first fell in love with both of these gentlemen when they were under lucha masks in Lucha Underground as King Cuerno and Killshot. And this King Cuerno versus Killshot match was so good. We even got to see an arrow from the depths of hell, which is what they used to call King Cuerno's suicide dive, because I swear to God, that dude flies so fast and so far through the ropes. He used to kill himself going into the third row doing that thing in the Lucha Underground tiny little soundstage where they recorded that thing. I got to see it tonight. It was really great. I loved Swerve attacking from the beginning, like getting revenge for what happened to his friends. By the way, where did they ever release them? Are they okay? Like, are we going to have like a whole season of Mayor of Easttown where Kate Winslet is out looking for these kidnapped wrestlers? We're not sure. But listen, I thought this was great. I really enjoyed the storytelling within it of Escobar fighting to not take the finisher.
Loved that.
Because he knew if that happens to him, he's done. And then he does take the finisher at the end, and right before it's done to him, he screams out, "No!" Because he knows he's gonna lose because it's happening to him. That was great. Loved it. I think it was so awesome to listen to watch the thing they brought up, because I'd forgotten about this, but then I remembered it. The taking off the turnbuckle cover, not of the turnbuckle, the ring, but the thing around the bar, because that's what ruined it for Swerve when he was a babyface going after Santos's cruiserweight title, and they did a call back to that.
Yeah,
so
this is when it's an art form. This is that, and Escobar too. I feel like everybody who's Hispanic who does anything off the top ropes, everyone's like shades of Eddie Guerrero, shades of Eddie Guerrero in this match all over the place for me. The way he was telling the story, the way he was executing some rope spots in this, I absolutely loved this. This was such a nice thing too, and this was a nice final match, real match of the night, because it felt I don't know, it just felt like pro wrestling instead of sports, not entertainment. Like, the callback was my favorite part of it by far. I had forgotten about that too until commentary did their job and reminded us. I loved this, and I liked those things like screaming no when someone's finisher is coming, feel like everything. Like when Shawn Michaels is the only person to go over a top rope in any sort of battle royal and try to reach back into the ring because that's his moment. Like, he reaches really far in moments like that. Like, that type of storytelling is why I fell in love in the first place with pro wrestling. So just a beautiful love letter to the few that they had. I loved it. And knowing that Swerve is going to be on the main roster and ruined, this was a really nice note to kind of go out on, I felt like.
Yeah. So we knew that when Escobar said that he was going to have his boys stay in the back, that was a lie. Survey says that was a lie. And they come out to just distract the referee. And they get interrupted, pulled off the apron, not by Top Dollar and Ashante the Adonis having escaped, but by Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams, who beat them up, and they're evening the odds, says Vic Joseph, even though they really haven't interacted with Swerve all that much. And I knew something was up. This is fishy. And so that was after that was when he was able to hit the finisher on Santos. And I don't think Swerve saw them. Like the way that they staged the match, it did not look like he saw them.
Correct. Yeah.
And so that was kind of cool because he was just happy that he won the match. He was really he was into it. And then he gets his hand raised, and there's Carmelo and Trick with the ring with him, and he kind of seems like, "What are you guys doing?" And they raise his arm too and hit him with a clothesline. And then a thing happens that I did not know was a thing. Carmelo Hayes cashed in his contract in a folder that he won by winning the tournament. And it's a Money in the Bank contract. Like, it's a thing where you can cash it in at any time and get a match. And I did not know that was a thing. That was not a thing that was ever explained to me. I thought you could say, "Hey, I want a match with you." And then William Regal would book that match and you would have that match at a later date. I did not know it was a thing where here, referee, here's a piece of paper inside this folder. I want to have a title match right this very second. I don't know that was a thing that they ever broached as a possibility. There was never "Hey, you better watch out, champ, because if you lose this match, I'm gonna cash in on you," which is what they were doing with Big E and stuff. So it just felt very odd. But anyway, he cashes in. He beats Swerve. Swerve fights back valiantly, but he beats Swerve, and now he's the North American champion. And Swerve gets to go up to the main roster, and they get to have a new North American champion without having to put it on an NXT 1.0 guy because they didn't want to do that. So there you go.
Yeah. What was they calling his finisher? The at a glance, because he kept walking around with that portfolio.
Yeah.
He signed it in front of us too, which is just interesting because that just negates every contract signing in history, I guess, kind of.
Wouldn't you have to get Swerve's signature on it too? I don't know.
I would think so, but the rules of it were never really explained. I don't understand why the overdog, this cocky guy, would cash in on a lower title than a newly crowned Braun Breaker. There's nothing about this that worked for me. I felt like, I forget what his henchman's name is.
Trick Williams. Didn't
really do a ton to serve a role here. He didn't take anybody out, which I feel like is why you have someone like that in your corner.
Yeah.
This was just, after such a great match, such a stupid ending. And why not let them have a real match next week? Why not let them have a real match on this show?
Why not? I guess because, Halloween Havoc happens after the official call up, but I thought they might do the match at Halloween Havoc, but they can't. They could do it next week. They could, but yeah, but
that would mean defending the North American title more than once since June. So
yes, it's true. Ricardo Elidolo says not very keen on strapping the North American title to Hayes, but Jay Shell Nicole says, "I'm just happy to see Carmelo get his shine." I listen. I was a huge fan of Carmelo Hayes the first time we saw him on NXT. He fought Kushida, I think, and his second match was against Adam Cole. And he looked great in that match too. I was a fan of his.
Breakout tournament.
He was great in the breakout tournament. Everything they've done with him since NXT 2.0 started has sucked, in my opinion. I don't think that the Trick Williams adds anything to the act, except a dude who I guess can get pinned. Oh, you don't get to have a match with me. You got to have a match with my boy Trick, and then Trick gets pinned. I guess, but that's just tropes. I don't like tropes.
Yeah, and I don't know, if you're that confident, you don't need a hype man guy like to take your pins. Like that's not the kind of heel he is. Yeah, I mean he's fantastic in the ring, and I think he's a good character in the fact that like the things that he says generally make sense.
Yeah.
This segment did not make sense into this match. Like this did not work. I think he'll be a good champion if they let him defend it.
If they let him defend it.
Yeah. I hope.
I don't know. And a guy with his type of moveset never usually works in Vince McMahon's wrestling as a heel, because they won't let him do the fun stuff, because then he might get over. People might like to watch him.
Yeah.
So you're not allowed to do all the fun athletic stuff.
I could see him working as a face though. Like that doesn't actually bother me that much but you can't make him a Vince McMahon face. You have to let him be a him face, which is its own issue. So yeah. I don't hate him having the title. I hate getting from A to C with this being B. Like that just made no sense.
That's a great way of putting it. Yeah, that's true. Mark Losper says, who's in Australia, says, I leave to take a bunch of meetings and I come back and you all are still going. Have some more coin to get you closer to the million.
Thank you.
We're going to break it. I swear to God, we're going to break the record.
We're going to break it.
We're going to break it. And now we're going to have a few, a couple things. Here we go. Wyatt12 says, BTE is great, but do either of you watch Sammy's vlog? Son of Fuego 2, better than Cody Rhodes. I do not watch Sammy's vlog. I don't have enough time to watch anything. It's so sad. But I made sure to watch a BTE this week because I knew it was going to be a special.
I haven't watched Sammy's vlog in a couple of weeks, but by the insistence of my Mark Order co-hosts, I watched it this week because they told me that there was a fun shot to Cornette in it. So I love good jabs at Cornette, and it's a fun one. It's a fun watch.
Brent Lockman says it's amazing how many things in The Simpsons can be applied to all forms of wrestling. Yes, The Simpsons truly did it.
Simpsons did it.
Zach Barber says, well, now Kate has to sing the Golden Girls theme. That's just the rules. You brought up the thing.
Look, just because you people think that I make a reference to something doesn't mean I'm gonna thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant. And if you threw a party, invited Tony D'Angelo and nobody else, hey, gabagool. You serve gabagool at that party.
Absolutely. Sophia would have trays of gabagool at that party.
And cheesecake. That was the big
one. Cheesecake too. Joey AM says, it's been a minute, so here's some money. Alex, the 144p king. Yes, I'm noticing that my feed has been wonky, but what's great about this,
it reflects the quality of the show you watch. It's not even up to you. So
that's true.
How that works.
It's true. But hopefully the audio is clear, because that's the only thing that matters.
No,
oh my God.
Swipes and likes matter.
That's true. Okay, Thick Astley, which is it's a fantastic nickname. I love it.
Amazing.
Says a big ask from me, but everyone will appreciate it. Steiner Math promo gabagool. Listen, I'm not even going to try and find that right now. I promise you, if you watch next week, I will find it. I will make sure I have it, and I will do the promo as Tony D'Angelo next week. But I'm not going to try and go find that thing right now. I'm so sorry, but I will do it. I promise you. Your money was not poorly spent. I will do it. I promise. I'm just not doing it right now. I'm just not going to find it right now. So here we go. Let's see here. So I'm going to do these in ascending order of goodness, I guess. Well, here's one without a specific request. Ian the Weird says, just want to send this in as a longtime Fightful viewer and former lover of NXT 1.0 and Alex Walter voice being Tony D'Angelo. Thank you so much. Thank you. So here we go. Jace Shell Nicole says, can we get Grayson Waller doing Adam Cole's theme? Man. all I have as an impression for Grayson Waller is just his name. I don't know how to say anything.
You know it's all about the boom.
You know it's all about the boom. You know it's all about the boom. You know it's all about the boom, mate. You know it's all about the boom. All right, I guess that's as good as I can go for Grayson Waller. But thank you. Okay. So JW Pringle says, please say this as Mr. Anthony D'Angelo. Hush, little baby, don't say a word, and never mind that noise you heard. It's just the beast under your bed, in your closet, in your head. Exit light. And tonight, take my hand. We're off to Never Never Land. Second star to the right, straight on till morning.
It's my favorite part of the show, by the way. I don't have to do anything.
You don't have to do anything. Do anything. Oh no, I deleted something. I deleted something I shouldn't have had. Oh no, I know where it went. I'm so sorry. Deleted something. I should not have deleted it. Where's my? Can I have my undo? Undo? Awesome. Oh, that. I'll do that later. So this is Tony D'Angelo. By request of Sean Blandford, Tony D'Angelo ordering at a Waffle House. Hey, so these are some nice pictures in your menu. Can I just get like one of everything and just like drench it in syrup and like 2 eggs over easy and then 4 eggs over hard and then I don't know, let's say 5 eggs scrambled. All right, that's good. Yeah, just syrup everywhere. Listen, if you when you're gonna look at this thing, you're gonna say to yourself, "There's too much syrup on this," and then I want you to add more syrup. All right, thank you.
That just reminded me of Ron Swanson with. I think what you heard was, "I want a lot of bacon."
I want all the bacon you have. So gabagool. Stardom Wrestling Fanatic R26 says, I wonder what a D'Angelo only cams ad would sound like.
Ooh, so do I.
I do too. I've never actually heard an only cams ad, but I'm assuming, so I'll just go like this. Hey, ladies, you want to see the goods? You know you want to see the goods. So subscribe to my OnlyFans, onlyfans.com/gabagool, and you will see all of the goods. And believe me, the goods are great.
He didn't say OnlyFans. He said only cams.
Well, yeah,
so
but
Tony D'Angelo needs to go to the moon.
He's not actually a cam, so he'd have to go to OnlyFans.
That's a very good point. That's fair.
He's not a cam. So Josh Cardenas says that he needs Tony D'Angelo to ask Kate out on a date.
Yes, you don't have to say anything. I don't want to end up in the truck.
Hey, not for nothing. I wanted to say something. I like your bangs. Listen, and when I say bang, but listen, I love your bangs. I love your glasses. I just want to say you have a fantastic aesthetic, an overall look to you.
Thank you.
And I was wondering if you might want to come down with me to the docks where my cousins work, and we could maybe put some guy in some cement shoes and send him to sleep with the fishes. This is what I do on all my first dates. And the thing is, if you say no, then you are the next person to sleep with the fishes. This is basically how I'm able to. Listen. They're I got an OnlyFans. They're coming at me. I gotta beat them off with a stick. So this is how I narrow it down. If you're okay with me murdering people, then I know you deserve a second date. So how about that first date?
I'm scared to say no.
That's the idea. That's the idea. Basically, yes.
Will there be anything?
There will be lots of gabagool.
I'm in.
Okay, good. This is the last one, guys. Thank you so much. I believe that's all we have. Thank you. This has been so much. Okay. So now, oh wait, we didn't talk about this. Something else happened on the show tonight. Imperium cut a promo about how they don't like MSK. But Marcel Bartel cut it in German with subtitles, and Fabian Eichner cut it in Italian with subtitles. These are both guys who we've heard can speak perfect English. So another thing is specifically for the 62-year-olds and older. Remember, there are lots of people who watch the show who are older than 62. A lot of World War II veterans who really hate Germans and Italians watch the show. And so we might make them seem way more... we've seen them way more evil. So that's why we have them speaking foreign languages. That was the thing.
There actually was one other super chat.
Was there?
Yeah. I'm requesting Alex do an impression of Walter. However, Walter is trying to sound like Tony D'Angelo so he can fit in with the mobsters.
Yeah, no, that's the last one.
Oh,
that's the last one.
Okay.
I just saw it too. That's the last one. Here we go.
Also, while you were doing that, Louise put in our chat, holy shit, I forgot that Imperium was on the show. Ha 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 ha.
It's true. It's very easy to forget. Here we go. I'm not sure who sent this. If you did, here we go. This is Walter trying to sound like Tony D'Angelo so he can fit in with the mobsters. Here we go. Hello, I am Walter. Not for nothing, but I was thinking perhaps you friends and we could go down to the docks where all of my cousins work, and we could put some people in the shoes that are made of cement, and we could send them to take a nap with what is expression? Sleep with fishes. Yes. Also, I have a body in my trunk, and I was wondering if anybody could help me with that because I happen to have misplaced my keys, and I think he's running out of air in there. So I was thinking also, is there a deli around here where I may be able to procure some gabagool? I am not sure how you pronounce gabagool. Yes, but I am Italian as the day is long. That is me. Look, I have a locket here with a picture of my grandmother, Sophia from Golden Girls. Hello, I am Italian. That's as much as I got, guys. That's as much as I got, guys.
God, but thank God you did the other sour graps yesterday.
Yeah, no. I wouldn't be doing this if I still had 2 more hours of stuff to talk about. I feel like that's what's going to happen from now on. I'm going to do a late night sour graps on Monday so that I don't have to do an even later night sour graps on Tuesdays.
Yeah, that's probably a good call.
Thank you, everybody, for your super chats and for your well wishes to Kate's mother, whose birthday is tomorrow.
Thank you for the happy birthday wishes. That was so sweet. They sent their thanks in a group text, and my dad also sent a text message that said, "Gabagool."
All right, everybody. So thank you. I of course follow me on Twitter at Alex Sour Graps. Somebody suggested I should start a Cameo where I just do impressions and people can pay for them. Turns out I'm not famous enough to be on Cameo because I tried.
Can you do shoot on Pro Wrestling Tees?
I should probably do that.
You probably could.
Anyway, this has been a lot of fun for me. It's great, and yeah. So please come to my Twitter. It's a lot of fun, and then I do the Sour Graps things on Fightful Select. Subscribe to Fightful Select, and I do the Sour Graps thing. Hey, Kate's here too. Kate, Where do they follow you, Kate?
You can follow me at KateOnDeckIC on Twitter. I'm here every Tuesday doing Sour Reps with this guy. On Wednesdays, I'm at Mark Order Pod. We're talking all things All Elite. And then on Fridays, you can catch me on the AEW Rampage SmackDown post show with Sean Ross Sapp immediately following those programs. So check me out on all those things.
Yes.
Or Sleep with the Fishes. Either one. Your choice.
And as we, from now on, will say every time we end one of these shows, keep cool, Gabagool.